Hello and welcome to Anime Territory. I'm your host this week, Johnny Ruhal, and with me I've got my co-host, Benjamin Flint the Dwarf Fighter Shapping. This week we're talking about Sonny Boy, a show we love a lot, and we've been talking about a lot with anyone who will listen, but nobody listens.
Yep.
But this show is, it just finished airing a couple weeks ago as of time of record. We have watched it twice.
We have watched it twice.
We deliberately wanted to watch through it a second time, which is why this episode is a little bit delayed from when it could have been released, so that we could have time to process the first watch through, first of all, and then try to catch on little bits that we might have missed the first time watching through. We're going to be doing this episode a little bit differently.
Okay.
I was hoping you would pick it up. I do all the talking in this show.
You can't just stop talking. Okay.
I pointed to you.
We're going to do our impressions. We're going to give you a rating and then a rating. We usually do the rating after. But we just want to get all of our impressions and rating out and then basically do a really deep dive into the show itself.
Yeah.
Usually we kind of just like...
we go episode by episode and describe the plot and what happens, and then I get off track.
With this show, there's a lot to talk about, and we're just going to talk about everything, or just about everything.
So before there'll be a point where we tell you, like, if you've not watched Sonny Boy, and I can't believe I'm saying this, stop listening to our podcast and go watch Sonny Boy. Because I'll tell you something right now, I am glad that, we binged this show, sort of. We watched like 3 episodes a night on our rewatch, but I am glad that we had a whole week in between each episode to just ponder and expect, and it was just, this is the peak of week-by-week television, I guess. I still like binging stuff, but I like that I didn't know what was going to happen, and I had time to process each episode individually. And I'll say right now, watching it the second time, and maybe it's just because we had just so recently finished it, but watching it the second time was a little more, I don't want to say underwhelming, because it was still great. It was still a masterpiece, but it was not as enjoyable because I knew what was coming up and what was going to happen and what parts were like important things that I should, remember coming up, and what parts were things that were kind of left vague and not touched upon again.
I kind of had the opposite feeling. I enjoyed the second watch through a lot. Almost as much as the first. First one might have been a little bit better, but I thoroughly enjoyed the second watch through.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, after every episode on our first watch through, we would just sit there days for a couple seconds to minutes, and then I would just go, "What? What the fuck just happened? This is amazing. I love this." And I did not have that reaction while rewatching it. There were still some very powerful moments, and I'm like, damn, that's good. But it was a lot more, I was more subdued than I was watching it week to week.
I was too, but I don't think that subduedness made me enjoy it less. It was just a different experience.
Yeah.
That I liked almost as much as the first one.
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out, and this kind of goes into our warning that if you know what's going to happen, I think it slightly lessens the enjoyment of it.
Correct.
If you're like, wait, what's going on?
You need to go into this show knowing nothing.
Like, you get to this episode and you're like, did they really just spend a whole episode on that?
Yeah. And
I think you know exactly what episode I'm talking about. It's like your favorite episode.
Oh, yeah, that's a great episode. I love that episode.
It's just like,
I was thinking of a different one, but yeah, you're right.
It's like, I didn't know baseball could be that interesting.
Yeah.
That's as spoilery as I'm getting in this section.
Okay.
I guess, general impressions. I love this show. Rating, 10 out of 10, masterpiece. Please go watch Sonny Boy.
Ditto. It's a masterpiece, 10 out of 10. Watch the show, go in blind, and just enjoy it.
Like, I know that we made a rule, like, we're slowly revealing our top 10 lists, and I know we made a rule, we wouldn't change it. We would set it in stone at the start, and then, because I'm always fluctuating that damn list. I never know what I like best.
Mine's fluctuating now.
Yeah, mine is definitely... No, I don't want to say definitely. I think mine... No, I will say definitely. Mine is going to get rearranged to accommodate Sonny Boy somehow. Because there are shows in my top 10 that I don't like nearly as much as I like Sonny Boy. That I think are great, but it's, I don't think are quite to the level of masterpiece that Sonny Boy is.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, that's only like 5 minutes, and we're already done with the non-spoiler part of the show. I don't really know what else to say. It's streaming on Funimation.
I mean, the show's not going to be for everybody. If you're just wanting like a typical like turn your brain off type of show, this isn't it.
This is not a turn your brain off show.
This is a show.
Well,
in a way,
there are some people who could take it as that. If you decide not to delve into the mysteries, you could take it as sort of like a trippy sort of.
I guess if you're looking for a typical anime where things generally happen the way you think, or just like a.
So I wrote down a note that might help you here. I wrote down a note that says every episode is like a dream.
Okay.
So it follows a logic, but it follows kind of a weird emotional logic and not really a, point B has to happen because point A happened. It's more like, it's a little wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, to quote Doctor Who. But it's like, I don't know. I just think that there are things in it where we think of causality as cause causes the effect, we think cause comes before effect because that's how it happens in time.
Yeah.
But for all we know, the cause is malleable and the effect is all that matters, and it's the fact that the effect that's more of a Steins Gate thing. But it's just like a little like you could definitely turn your brain off and I don't know, eat shrooms or something and just trip out watching Sonny Boy, and you get a lot of fun visuals.
I guess I was talking more like almost like your action animes where you're just like, it's like, I'm just gonna watch this for the fights and stuff. I'm like, this is not that type of show.
Yeah, this is a thinker, a puzzler, a feeler.
This is a David Lynch movie.
I guess that's the only thing I can think. Like,
I never watched a David Lynch movie.
I've seen part of Mulholland Drive.
Okay.
And I've seen Dune. Those are the only David Lynch movies I've seen.
I have watched that one Psych episode where they reference
Twin Peaks.
Okay. And then I've seen all the reviews of Red Letter Medias for Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So yeah, maybe that's not the best comparison there with our limited Lynchian views, but that's just kind of the best fit I can think of at this point. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. It's maybe a little Kubrick-esque or something too. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to draw too many comparisons. Anyway, it's great. Go watch it.
It's fantastic. Go watch.
But it's not. Don't go into it thinking this is going to be the next Demon Slayer or whatever. No, it's more like this is the next Ava.
Yeah.
I get a lot of the last couple episodes of Ava out of Sonny Boy.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
This is basically instrumentality. Okay, so I guess this is the official warning point.
Okay.
Turn back now. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here, of ever not having Sonny Boy spoiled for you.
And welcome back.
Thank you to the two people that have either seen Sonny Boy or disregarded the warning and decided, I'm going to keep listening to the episode. I'm talking to you, Brock, our friend.
Or for those who actually took our warning, welcome back.
Yeah, how did you like Sonny Boy? Let us know in the comments below.
All right. You just want to dive right into it?
Yeah, this is kind of where I don't have notes for the episode synopses, so you kind of always take control, and then I will. Okay. I'll override you.
So we start episode 1. We have this class of students. They are all third years from this middle school.
Yep. So they're in 9th grade.
Mm-hmm. It's not I don't know how they do it in Japanese, but it's not one class. It's like the whole year.
Yeah, the whole school. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's not the whole school. It's the third year class. Yeah. They have different.
It's the third year class, not an individual class.
Yeah. It's not like how American school systems work, where everyone sort of has like moves to different classrooms for different subjects or whatever. It's you are in this class and different teachers come to teach your class. Mm-hmm. That's how Japan works. So
all third year students of this middle school have been transferred, teleported, however you want to say it, into a different dimension that they call this world, where they're in their school and it is complete black void outside.
Yeah, I would say they've been set adrift.
That's how they say it. They've been set adrift.
Which, it's just listening to the synopsis of this, you're like, oh, middle schoolers getting transferred to some other world. You're like, oh, great. And Isekai. This is not
Isekai with the Lord of the Flies tune to it. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you get from the description. But then when you watch it, you're just like, oh no, this is not like a fantasy world or whatever. It's not going to follow any Isekai tropes. These people are just teenagers hanging out in a school that's surrounded by nothingness. So yeah,
they are just in this void. They have some of them have developed superpowers.
Yes.
To varying degrees and powerfulness.
That's one guy can make his finger glow.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's the guy who keeps track of the powers, and he gave himself A rank because I guess it's like that movie.
Yeah.
E.T. It's like, all right, whatever.
It's not even E.T.'s best power. Doesn't he know? He knows telepathy and stuff, right?
I've never seen E.T.
I haven't either.
I think we just lost all of our listeners when I said I've never seen E.T.
Dang.
I should probably watch that.
Anyways, we start with one of our main characters, Nagara.
I would always say Nagara. Instead of Nagara, I would say Nagara. That's how I would put the emphasis on it.
Introduced to him, he's just kind of this apathetic guy who doesn't really do anything. Yeah, not really do anything. He's just kind of...
He's laying in the classroom looking at his phone, and then...
one of our other main characters, Nozomi, comes in and is like, hey, what you doing?
Is that fun? He's like, no. Why are you doing it? What else is there to do?
Yeah.
And then he gets up. She's like, oh, you're going to go do something? Yeah, I'm going to go piss. And she's like, oh, okay.
I didn't write a lot of notes for the synopsis, so I'm trying to go off my head. But anyways, stuff happens. We get the idea that the student council members are going to try to not take power, but establish rules and set guidelines to keep some of the people who have gained bigger powers kind of in check, just to make sure that everything's going well and that.
Yeah, nobody's like abusing their powers, and they're like, we should follow the school rules and not break school property. There's like a lot of people are losing. They're like playing soccer in the hall.
Essentially setting up a government.
Yeah, they're like, we should set up rules. Yeah. And it's sort of we should set up rules in such a way that we can establish power. Like,
yep. Because as far as we know, none of them really have that big of powers.
Yeah. Though once they reach out and make rules, it seems like one of them gains a power. Which
so we'll go into it. There's a character named...
He's just called Cap. Captain Cap.
He's like this jock kind of muscle
guy.
Yeah,
he's like a baseball fanatic.
Yeah.
He's a nice enough guy, but he's not like he's not super smart, but he
doesn't seem super smart, but he's just there.
He's sort of charismatic because of that, but
anyways, he's elected president basically. And then they basically set up guidelines, and then one of the characters kind of pushes the boundaries or like defies the rules.
Breaks a window or two.
And then we discover that Cap has the power called penalty.
Yes,
to where he can...
Anyone who breaks the rules gets a big black X show up on their face, and then it'll like fade over time as they fulfill their penalty. So like some people have to run laps around the house. He had to do like calculating division of pi to so many places or something before it disappeared.
But we get that. We are also met with the other council president or members. We had Hoshi and
they just call her Pony.
Yeah,
because she's got a ponytail.
Hoshi seems to be like the man behind the scenes, running everything.
Yeah, Cap's a figurehead. Hoshi is like influencing everything. Mm-hmm. He's got a way of talking where he's like, he'll put ideas in your head, and if you disagree with him, you sound like the asshole. Yeah. Even though secretly he's the asshole. He's just like kind of control, power hungry is the impression that you get from him. But slyly. He's a sly little devil.
Yeah, but then other things happen, and then towards the end, you get a group of students kind of rebelling, trying to take power from them. And it's revealed that the power that Cap has isn't exclusive to him. It is a rule of the world that they are in.
Yes. So since they're in some other dimension, the penalty, anyone can impose a penalty on someone who has broken the rules, and you can't impose a penalty on someone who hasn't broken the rules. Because one of the people, the first person to get a penalty, he doesn't actually, like, he's kind of the ringleader, but he doesn't actually break any of the rules. So Cap can't give him a penalty.
Yep.
But Cap being sort of like driven to being like, oh, I'm the cool guy, I'm the one who's got to keep control here, hits him with a baseball bat.
Oh, yeah.
But then Hoshi gives Cap a penalty and makes him do like squat jumps naked or something. It was weird. Anyway. But I think I noted at one point that his tan lines could rival Nagatoro's tan lines. But that is, I mean, we haven't been focusing on our main characters in this episode. Our main characters being Nagara and Nozomi. Another main character is in this episode, but you don't get the feeling that she's a main character because she hasn't really done much.
She doesn't do much in this one.
But they're just kind of like, Nozomi's just kind of bothering him, and she doesn't necessarily want to follow the rules either. So she's like, oh, they make a group text and a smartphone thing so that they can, push out the rules and notifications. And she's like, no, I'm not going to follow that. So like, hey, we're going to give you a cell phone so that you can join this. And she's like,
no, this is dumb.
I'm going to break this. And then she gets a penalty or whatever. Yeah. But it's just a matter. It's like a passive rebellion, just personally. Like, no, those aren't. I'm going to decide not to take part in this.
Yep.
And Nagara is just being like,
I'm just doing whatever.
I think he denied the request to join the thing. He's like, I just figured that wasn't for me.
Oh, yeah.
He's not stirring up waves or anything.
He's just kind of staying out of the way, almost.
Yeah. We should note that it seems like anything that breaks will eventually kind of restore to a certain point.
I don't think that happens until next episode.
Well, don't they talk about no, because we see at least the people in stasis, because one of the characters, an Indian student named Rajani, does like some experiments where he like marks something on his hand, and then the mark disappears later. So the people at least are returning to regular form. It is talked about more specifically in the next episode, but like they supposedly can't get hurt, and their like food supplies are not dwindling, but they're small, but they are replenishing themselves, sort of thing. And there's another character who can seemingly just has a bunch of stuff. She's our other main character, Mizuho.
Let's finish episode 1.
I know, but we see her like eating a pizza in one of the schoolrooms. So like she's got a bunch of stuff already.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Anyways, that happens, and then Nozomi jumps off the roof.
Yeah. So one of the guys' powers, one of the ringleader that we talked about before, his name is Asakaze. He's another he's not a main character, but he's like
he's a supporting character.
Yeah, I would say he's
fairly important.
He's pretty important.
Yeah.
He, like I said, he was the ringleader. His power is probably the most powerful of all of them. He can like twist space and
he can do just about anything.
Yeah. So like he's like, the school is all in like some sort of weird shape because he has been using his power or whatever. And the other people that were in his gang were doing part of that too. But they get stopped by the student council because they've got, one of them has like a replacing power. They can switch places with something. So in their cages or whatever. Yeah, I think so too. So they escape the traps that they were put in, and we learn about the penalties being for anyone. We see Nozomi say that, hey, what's that bright light out there that nobody else can see? And she's like, it's right there. So she jumps off the school building into the inky blackness to go try to reach that light.
Nagara catches her, but then he's hanging by like a bike rack, and then that comes off. So they fall into the blackness, and they're teleported onto the ocean, into an ocean on an island. So
they are, all of a sudden, the inky blackness is replaced with a scenic, tropical island. And the school is in the middle of like a bay or something, and it's encased in the water. And they're like, hey, we found a new world. It's not.
And that's the first episode.
That's the first episode. Cut to credits, which I should say are amazing credit song.
Best credit song This might be my favorite credit song of all time.
I'm not going to admit that, but it's definitely up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to look at. I mean, they had Ergo Proxy has Paranoid Android. Like I can't discount that, but that's not for everyone. But yeah, no, it is. I believe we looked up the name. It's translated. It's called Shonen Shoujo by the Ginning Boys.
Yep, fantastic song.
Yep. We should note that there's a lot of like alternative like bands and stuff that contribute to the soundtrack of this, Asia-based alternative bands. But it's all organized by Shinichiro Watanabe, our hero.
Oh, your hero.
You like Cowboy Bebop.
I mean, I like him all. I wouldn't call him my hero, though.
I would.
Okay.
I'd call him my hero. He's great.
Okay.
So it's just like, I think he's friends with the Sonny Boy creator because they work very close together on Space Dandy. Mm-hmm. This is a conversation we had on our summer preview where you're like, he's the director of Space Dandy. I'm like, he's not Shinichiro Watanabe. But they both did like episode directing on it for like
he was basically
technically all the episodes. He's co-directors or whatever. What was the name of the director of Sonny Boy? I know we wrote it down at one point.
I think you wrote it down at some point. It's like Nasumi, I think. Shinjo Nasumi?
I want to say Shingo.
Shingo Nasumi? You wrote it down.
Yeah, but I wrote it down on like our summer episode.
I thought you wrote it down again.
Yeah, maybe.
Alright, keep talking.
Okay, so that's the first episode. Second episode, we're on the island. Gosh, I was relying on you. You got to get me started on these. I'll go off then.
Director was Shinjo Natsumi. Shinjo, whatever.
Is it Gio?
Yeah.
Okay. Shingo Natsumi. Okay.
Okay, episode 2, we're on the island.
Yes.
Sorry. I should have wrote a little bit more stuff down.
I don't remember how the episode starts.
I don't either.
This is the Suspicion Island episode, right?
Yes, this is Suspicion Island.
Okay, which one? What did we do in episode 3?
Episode 3 was Detective.
Got it. Okay, so
episode 2. Let's see. We see Mitsuho basically has the power to like give or like order anything off of Amazon, and that's it.
Yeah, so she can
order things on Amazon and they arrive.
Yeah, so she's got a castle.
Yeah, she has like Walt Disney's castle on the island, and she just has a bunch of stuff. But she's also like giving.
Yeah, she's giving stuff to, or like people are like, hey, you need to use your power to give us tools so that we can build like shelters and stuff.
Yeah,
you go live in your castle or whatever with your cats.
Yeah.
She's got 3 cats. You go live in your castle. We'll order supplies from you, and she's kind of like, I'll get them to you when I'm ready to get them to you, sort of thing.
Anyways,
there was one girl who I don't even think has a name.
I don't know.
Goes to visit her to like ask about one of the orders. Sees like some makeup that she likes, and she's like, she's not gonna miss it. So she takes it.
She doesn't even wear makeup.
Yeah. So she takes it. At the same time, there's been like some fires.
There's been some suspicious like blue fires happening.
Yeah, and somebody says that. Or somebody sees that, hey, the one thing that survived this fire was this Game Boy that I got. This is Rajan that says this Game Boy that I got from her. And then somebody's like, well, I got this lipstick from her and the tools that caught on fire. And then, so
I always forget his name, Nagara saw her in front of like a tree that was burning. So he's like, well, I saw her.
Yeah, I saw her in the woods in front of a burning. But he's like, but don't take that the wrong way. Like,
and then they take it the wrong way.
Yeah, and then they take it the wrong way. There's also, we learn there is some bad blood between the student council and Mizuho, where the student council president, Pony, lost the election.
To Hoshi, we assume.
I don't know who he lost it to, but they fake the results somehow. They like pull some strings because they're rich or whatever, so that she gets elected president instead of somebody else.
Yeah,
I don't think it was to Hoshi. I think I think Hoshi was
I thought it was Hoshi, and then Hoshi.
I didn't see
I'll
the
give
other
it to
name.
you because, like, again, he's seedy.
He's
so
more
he's
of a background manipulator than
I feel like that's why he did it. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, they
rigged the election.
They rigged the election. For whatever reason, Mizuho knows they did that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess she kind of has this thing for a teacher, too. But
that's never really touched upon after this I did notice that she's wearing the ring that the teacher had when we get that one flashback. So there was something there. It could have been nothing, but...
Yeah. But I think it no longer really becomes important to her character after this episode. Mm-hmm. But she posts about it online saying hey, these people rigged it. This is blah
They're
blah
all
blah
frauds,
blah.
fakes, whatever.
And they confront her you can't slander people. And she's like, it's not slander. It's
if it's true.
And they're like,
doesn't matter.
But
you're
rich. You sure you should be saying bad things about another student on school Wi-Fi, and that could look bad on the teacher that was
letting you use the
school Wi-Fi, and they kind of threaten his position there. Mm-hmm. So this is the point in the show where I'm like, oh, the student council is the bad guys.
Yeah, they're the bad guys.
I don't like them. They soften on me a little bit, but I still don't really like them towards the end.
Okay, they're okay at the end. Okay. I think
they're okay by episode 6, but it's I really did not like them in episode 2.
That's true.
Because they're just say, all we want is an apology. And she's like, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
They're blaming her for the fires. One of her cats goes missing, which I don't think was actually them. But,
no, I think the cat was just dumb.
Yeah, the cat was just in the woods or whatever. Yeah. Nagara goes, to... He feels bad because, again, people were taking things he said the wrong way.
Yeah, he kind of started the... rumors.
He brings her back her cat. She uses her power to make a bunch of money show up on the island, and it burns the island. Because we learn that the blue fire is not caused by, again, it's not somebody's power. They're thinking it was her power somehow. It's caused by
one of the rules of this world.
Yeah, and one of the rules of this world is all things must be traded upon fairly. Things that are stolen or things that are, forced out of somebody will erupt in the blue fire. Mm-hmm. This is also where we learn that, the blue fire doesn't really hurt them because they're in stasis. It
feels hot, but it doesn't burn them.
Yeah, they will revert back to their forms. Mm-hmm. And that the school is that way too, so their food supply is regenerating. This is where they touch upon that a little more. Mm-hmm. But it's found out that, hey, Rajani, that Game Boy that he found that wasn't burnt up, the reason that it wasn't burnt up is that he had a fair trade with Mizuho. So Rajani, he's sort of like a genius.
Yeah, he's a genius.
He uses his power to make an app that can keep track. It's Bitcoin. He uses his power to make Bitcoin.
He created Bitcoin.
It's people can earn money, and then we can all trade using this as a currency, and we can avoid the blue fires from now on. I think Nagara returns
the cat.
He finds the cat and returns it to Mizuho, and
the cat returns.
Yeah, the cat returns. And then so she's kind of okay, this dude's cool.
I just want to point out, this is the first time we see Yama Biko.
Oh, yes.
Which we'll talk about later.
We did not notice him the first time watching.
Correct.
We see some weird creature's eye in the forest.
Yep.
And it's just you just kind of take it as oh, this is just one of those trippy moments where they're showing us something weird. There'll be moments where Hoshi is talking and it'll be an old man voice coming out of him. And you're well, that was weird.
That's weird.
And you just kind of write it off. You don't think about it. But upon rewatch, we're I know whose eye that is.
Yeah.
I know who that is. It's my lovely little boy. Sorry. I like Yama Biko a lot.
Yama Biko's great.
That's essentially the episode?
Yeah. I think he might stand up for her, saying, hey, don't take this the wrong way at one point. And he's I did this because I felt bad because people took things the wrong way. Or maybe that's why he says he tries to return the cat.
At the end, Mitsuho gives him a hat. He's like, well, what do I got to give you for this? He's like, it's free.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
So, like...
So I'm just
you,
like...
she could have been giving stuff to people for free this whole time by setting the price at free. But she's like, nah. just Nagara, because he's cool.
Capitalism, baby.
And I think the next episode, he kind of like confronts her on it's like, why are you only giving me free stuff when everyone else is struggling? She's like, oh, that's how it worked in our original world.
Yeah.
It's just some people are set up to have everything when some people have nothing. Like, I'm not going to apologize for having everything. That's just the way of the world. But I guess we should go ahead and start talking about episode 3 now.
Yes. So episode 3 is Detective Mitsuho Nagara.
Yep.
So let's see. We got some students who are like
they're not missing.
They're not missing, but they are found to be like in black stasis to where they like not.
They
there.
look like it kind of looks like a black mannequin, like just a pitch black mannequin of a person that it's like, oh yeah, that's that guy. And he went missing like a week ago. And I thought somebody would report it, but nobody did.
It's like he's been gone a week, but I figured somebody else would tell you about
somebody,
it.
But it's people that nobody really cares about. They're
like
loners.
Yeah, they're like loners who are outsiders, basically. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We also get some points that Asakaze, Nozomi, and Nagara have been kind of like trying to find other like worlds to go to.
Worlds.
And they found like a bunch of like really weird ones. Like you can get like a swirly in a toilet and it'll take you to the red pond from the Green Knight.
Yeah, it's like a kraken on the bottom.
Yeah, there's like a world that's just curtains and a bunch of other like weird places.
Not the weird place, weird places.
Yeah. What's the weird place? Is that
I was thinking
Achievement Hunter?
Yeah.
You're thinking of the good place.
I was thinking of the good place, but there's the weird place.
Yeah.
I gotta switch it up.
Whatever. Neither here nor there. Ignore that part.
Don't ignore it.
If you live at Crown Heights. Walk in Paris.
Alright, that's the one. We're done.
No more other guys' references.
We're done. No more other guys' references.
Okay.
So these people are disappearing.
Disappearing.
Yeah, in quotations.
We know where they are, but they're not really
there.
Them.
Yeah.
They're like, is this somebody's power? Is this another rule of this world that is causing this?
Where are they?
With some people we know where they are, some people we don't necessarily know where they are.
So the student council tries to recruit people to help. Nobody does, and then they're just like, "You're not doing anything."
Mizuho, you've got a lot of free time.
Why don't you do it?
Why don't you do it? She's like, fine, I guess.
But I need a partner.
I need an assistant.
Nagara, what are you doing?
So now Nagara is off of portal duty.
Mm-hmm.
It's Asakaze and Nozomi. And they're having like no luck.
Yeah.
And Asakaze is like pissed because he's kind of like he thinks he's hot shit.
Yeah, he's the bee's knees.
To be fair, he is pretty hot shit.
To be fair,
but
he cannot
find any portals. They were making no progress without Nagara. But they're kind of Nozomi and Nagara are like, I don't know. They're sort of becoming friends, but they're sort of like they get mad at each other at one point because of their. Nagara's just very apathetic about things, and Mizuho doesn't really care about other people so much. They say some things they wish they wouldn't.
Yeah.
But they do kind of forgive each other towards the end of it. But what they find out is one of those worlds, we mentioned it, the one that's all curtains.
Yeah.
These people are somehow going into that world. There's a giant like curtain behind them that looks like the background, the scenery. But you can open that up and you can go in and they're in that curtain world. Yeah. And they're just kind of in their own little secluded
doing
space.
The things
they're not together. The people missing are not together.
They're all in their own separate like curtained
off areas, but the curtains are all connected.
Yeah.
One guy is like streaming Pac-Man. One guy is
no
just
viewers.
No viewers. One guy is I know how that feels. No viewers. One guy is lifting weights. One girl is like making stuffed animals, and they're just like, I don't want to work. I'm happy here by myself. I think one guy's just on his phone.
Yeah.
It's
like nobody cares about me. Nobody would care if I
went missing.
missing.
It's kind of a parallel of how, like, I feel like if Nagara hadn't made the progress that he's made so far, he would have been one of these people, and he might even still end up being one of these people. But after they have their like spat about it,
Yeah.
Mizuho and Nagara, they get a bunch of inventions from Rajani.
Which seems to be his power. He can just like make toy. Like,
Yeah, you can make stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how it works. I'm sure it's very complicated.
Yeah.
Knowing his character, he's just a very...
But he makes inventions and then whatever.
Yeah. So they get like a giant fan invention / like a grappling hook dog thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
And they use it to flip all the curtains up.
Yeah.
And then all the people like spill out of that world.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first, what do they call it? Power remnants?
Power holdovers.
Power holdovers that we run into. So if you like conquer this world, do something, or sometimes a power holdover. I think technically Rajani's inventions are power holdovers because it can come from somebody's power, or it can be a manifestation of somebody's power, or a manifestation of a conquered world.
Usually, I think it's a manifestation of either somebody's power or the world's power.
Yeah. So they get this little. The student council discovers like, hey, here's this cloth, and if you flip it, you can go to another world.
Mm-hmm. Plays a part later.
Yeah. They also theorize that Nagara has the power to travel or find other worlds because they don't.
Because nobody else is finding it, so they're like, well,
maybe
it must be Nagara.
Maybe he is. Nagara. Yeah, we're gonna keep saying it the wrong way. Maybe he is, like finding that he's got like a nose for these portals or something, or he can travel to other worlds, and that's why nobody else is finding them because he's no longer in the team.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's even creating the portals to those worlds. That's the theory at that point of what Nagara's power is. I keep saying Nagara. I want to say Nagara.
Nagara.
That's pretty much the end of episode 3 at that
pretty
point.
much. Yeah.
Episode 4, I'm going to let you take the reins because this is...
All right. Episode 4 is the greatest episode of anime of all time.
It didn't hold up as much on the second watch, though.
Oh, no, it's great. You're probably right. But anyways, so we start with them...
It's like Nozomi, Mizuho, and Nagara, and I think Asakaze are like eating at somebody's restaurant.
Well, first they like dive into that little pool that like bounces people over.
Yeah, it's some sort of weird...
They're like jumping off the cliff. Nozomi jumps in. Then Nagara is
pushed off.
Yeah, because he's like, I don't want to do this. This is stupid. And then Asazaki pushes him over. Asakaze. Sorry, I stuck with names. Anyways, he pushes him. Doesn't push him far enough, so he's about to fall into a rock.
Yeah, like crack his head.
He's about to stop him from doing it, but no, Nozomi's like, no, wait. And then Nagara basically
flickers the world
into a different world where we see a monkey on a baseball field. And then immediately goes back to the island they're on.
And other than that monkey being like, it was more like a Bigfoot than a monkey, really. But they're called monkeys for the rest of the episode. It looks like their world. They're like, did we just go back to our world at that point?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody else noticed the monkey or not.
Okay. There was definitely a monkey.
Yeah, no, we definitely saw it. I don't know if the other characters noticed it. Because they're like, that was our world. But I feel like if they saw the monkey, they would have been a wee bit suspicious.
I gotcha.
Like, what is that giant ape man doing on that field?
So then people are starting to think that maybe Nagara could get them back to their world. But anyways, before that, that's when I think they go to eat the rice. Cap is with them now.
Cap's like delivering spice to... Like, that's one of his jobs is he's delivering spices. And he's like, Nagara, you should come play baseball with me again. Because I guess he used to be on the team. And it's like, we lost the Little League World Champions because of your 3 consecutive errors. Which I guess is pathetic.
Oh, yeah, he had 3 years in a row. That's pretty bad.
Okay, I don't know.
It cost him the championship.
Maybe it's something that happens all the time, and it's just bad luck that it happened. I don't know, Ben. I don't know baseball.
Anyways,
I know baseball.
They go play baseball, and then Cap starts talking about a monkey league that happens.
Well, Nozomi hits a out of the park home run, and people like.
To be fair, it's not a park. It's just a field.
Yeah, on a mountain.
She hits the mountain.
Yeah, and they're like, you hear like monkey noises for a second. And he was like, well, nobody's beaten the record since that guy hit it out the park.
Since like Blue Monkey.
Yeah.
They're just like, what?
What are you talking about, Cap? And he starts talking about like baseball history, but instead of normal baseball history, it's monkeys
It's a
playing
monkey
baseball
league that apparently only Cap and some other people can see.
You have to
a real Field of Dreams vibe.
He learns that you have to go talk to Ace,
Yeah.
who is a pitcher, or he was a pitcher,
He's
a star
pitcher.
pitcher that was like
He's
already been
Ace.
scouted. Yeah.
That's
You have
his
to-
name.
I think that's his nickname. I think a lot of people go by nicknames in this show.
That's
like the name that no, we'll talk about this later.
Okay.
It's a character that hasn't really come up yet.
Okay. Okay.
Ace has like a flashlight, which I guess is a power holdover that he somehow got.
Yeah.
Where if you have the flashlight in your hands and you shine it on yourself, you can see the monkey
monkeys.
world.
Mm-hmm.
And Nozomi and Mizuho are like, we want to see some fucking monkeys.
We want to see the monkeys.
And so
That's
like,
all we want in life.
Mizuho's like, I've got like $9 trillion. I've got 9 trillion
Let me buy
Rajani
this from
coins.
you.
Let me buy the thing. He's like, nah, not interested. And
But
he's
then
kind of
he makes a deal
makes
with
a deal with
Nagara.
Nagara. It's like 1 inning game. Any of you can hit a pitch without me striking you out.
Yeah.
We'll let you borrow this.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, and then he whispers something in Nagara's ear that we don't hear.
Yes.
So they start talking. Cap tells them more and more about the history
He
of the
does
monkey
like a
baseball league.
5-minute dialogue on just this entire history of monkey baseball.
It's great.
It's fantastic.
And then they get to a part where he's talking about a specific game where there was an up and coming star, or like
Blue Monkey.
He's the top of his game, Blue Monkey.
Best player in the world. He's won
best
10
player.
straight. He's about to pitch a perfect game. Not only a perfect game, but like an immaculate game where he's gonna strike out every pitch player in 3 strikes.
Yeah. So he throws he's on the last thing.
Yeah, last pitch. All he needs is
Or
one more
not
strike.
the last pitch. It's the last batter.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it's the last pitch though. He
Is
has
it
an
the
0-2
last pitch?
count.
Oh, okay. He does have an 0-2 count.
Yeah.
I just know something.
Yeah.
Okay. He's
He's
on the
one
last
pitch away from
an
having
immaculate game.
an immaculate perfect game, whatever.
And he throws it, and Cap says, and the world shifts.
Shifts like
I'm not blaming Blue Monkey's throw. His throw was perfect. The world shifted.
and
And by a microcosm, the ball, it was out of the strike zone. It was
by
technically
like
a ball.
a micrometer.
And the umpire calls ball. And Blue Monkey goes, what the hell?
That's a strike.
That's a strike. Why would you ruin this for the crowd?
Mm-hmm.
And the umpire stands his ground. He's like, because that's the fucking rules.
That's the rules. It was a ball.
And Blue Monkey goes, this isn't a game. This is a baseball show.
Yeah.
Like, this is what the crowd wants, and you denied it from them.
Mhm.
I am baseball. I am the rules.
I am the law.
Yeah. So, and the umpire is like,
Nope.
nope. I'm...
So Blue Monkey does that pitch 3 more times, calls it a ball every time.
Yep. The monitor clearly shows it's definitely a ball. It wasn't a bad call.
Yeah.
It's barely a ball, but it's definitely a ball.
Again, it's just a micrometer off from a strike, but it's a ball.
Yeah. Blue Monkey throws down his mitt, leaves
Walks
in
off.
disgust.
And then the
Crowd is not having it. The crowd charges the umpire and
kills
tramples
him.
and kills the umpire. And it's just, he's talking about that scene. I'm like, damn. If that happened in real baseball, I'd be way more into baseball.
There's been some incidents in this, but nobody's ever died.
Yeah, I think the coolest is that bird that exploded from the pitch. That's...
Well, what was it called? It was called like 25-cent beer night or something, where like
Oh, I did hear about
Cleveland
that.
Indians were selling beer for like 25 cents, and it was just pure chaos, and everybody started charging the field. They had to call off the game.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's like the closest thing that's probably ever happened.
But it's just this long dialogue from a guy talking about a fake baseball history, and like, this is captivating.
Mm-hmm.
And
but the point of the story was, though, that like after he's done telling the story, Nozomi's like, "Wow, that guy was so brave."
And
Cap's
like, yeah, Blue Monkey was the greatest. And she's like, no, the
umpire.
umpire. He took on the fucking world.
Yeah.
And was right.
Mm-hmm.
He may have died for it, but he was
He's the hero.
He's the hero of that story.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just makes you think a bit. It's like, Zoe's cool.
Yeah. And
Cap's
she's just
dumb.
trying to get Nagara to, like, get the point of that story.
Yeah. Because Nagara's sort of Nozomi's pet project. She's like, no, don't be my friend. Don't be apathetic. Don't run away from your problems.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we've gotten hints at this point. Nagara's got like some home life issues, and he's got a lot of.
I don't know. I don't exactly remember when that happened, but yeah.
He's like apathetic. We get hints that like on his way to school, he saw like a dead bird by the gate or a dying bird by the gate, and he just walked away. He's like, not my problem.
Yeah.
And I think Nozomi saw that and was like, how fucking dare you?
bitch.
But she's like, she's trying to get him to
almost have
to
feelings.
grow.
Yeah. Grow some feelings.
Yeah. But then
they have like the competition.
Yeah, they have the competition.
Mitsuho strikes out, doesn't even swing.
Yeah, Mitsuho is like, she's out. Nozomi gets a bunch of foul balls. And
then the last one strikes out.
So she hits it, but she doesn't actually get an actual hit.
Yeah.
And she was their best player.
Yes.
So Nagara's up, and they're like, you got this. He just kind of stands there for the first two strikes, and he's like nervous and shaking. Cap, I think, is the catcher / umpire. And then all of a sudden, like the people watching, they get transported back to the
monkey world.
The monkey world again, and he sees
the umpire monkey.
The umpire monkey, and he's got like a
dead.
He's
on
dead.
home plate.
And he's like, so one-armed dead monkey here. And Cap's like, I never said the umpire had one arm. How did you know that? This is before everyone could see it. Like, he could just see it at first. Mm-hmm. And then he brings people. Everyone is like, oh shit, we're back in this world again for a second. He ultimately strikes out still. Yeah, but he does swing.
He realizes the point of that story. And then he swings at the next pitch with all of his might. But he strikes out.
We learn that the deal, if they lost, was that he had to take them home as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, I don't know if I can do that. And he's like, doesn't matter, that's the deal. They all gather up at the beach, and it was like, hey, he was able to take us to the monkey world by command there. Yeah. He can bring us home now by command. He's at the beach.
He tries it.
They all travel to some random place. And then another random place, and then they're back on the beach.
Yes.
Oh, I should note, we mentioned that the island had money drop on it and burn.
I kind of forgot about this.
We kind of forgot to mention that as dawn broke, the island came back to its default state, which some people think that Asakaze fixed with his sort of power.
Asakaze fixes it.
Yes. At this point, they're all really mad at him, and he runs away. Is that right?
No, I think that's the next episode. Because I think it ends with him being unsuccessful, and then Misaki shows up.
That's right. So somebody shows up, a teacher of theirs, shows up on the beach, and she's like, you can't go home again. I'm going to give you some, you're going to learn some, you're not done learning all your lessons or whatever. I'm going to teach you about how there's no hope and you should follow me.
Yes.
And
before we get to the next episode, though, I wrote this down in my notes. It might have been from Reddit. I don't remember, but it wasn't the umpire who died. It was baseball.
Oh, yeah.
The spirit of baseball that died that day.
And we learned that Ace was the one who introduced them to baseball. He gave them a rule book and a bat and ball. Yeah. So, which I think is probably how he got the flashlight. He might have conquered that world or something, maybe. Or gotten it from that world. I don't know, but that was his connection to that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the sport was never the same after that. I don't think it was played again after that incident.
And no longer became a sport people played for the love of it. It was
I don't know. It's a death game now.
Yeah. People lost the love for baseball.
Yeah, just like me. Mm-hmm. But if I ever had one, if I did, it's been way too long.
Okay, we can move on. But I just love that episode.
I know. I knew we'd talk about it for quite a bit. We're at 49 minutes right now. We just finished episode 4.
That's fine. We knew this was happening. It's fine.
Yeah. So episode 5. Start me off on this one.
Creating uphill. What did I write on this? I didn't write anything on plot.
Jesus Christ. What happens in episode 5? Do I need to pause the episode?
No, episode 5 is Misaki shows up, and she's just like, "You guys can't go back. You guys are doomed. Join me, and like, we'll do something. We'll conquer this."
I was sent by God.
Yeah.
To give you a compulsory education.
But yeah, this is where they like start ambushing. This is where they ambush Nozomi. Not Nozomi.
Nagara.
Yeah.
Nagara. I keep saying it wrong. I told you I was going to try to say it one way, and I keep saying it the wrong way. Okay, so Nagara, yeah, they're like, hey, why are you... I know, they do ambush him, and it's like, why won't you bring us home? Were you the one who brought us here? Because you're
they're starting to think that he's the reason why they drifted.
Yeah, and we've got people we may not. And
oh yeah,
this is a fucking like, why the hell would you say that? They're like, we're not all like you. We've got loved ones that we want to get home back to, and it's like, all right, fuck you.
Yeah,
he wants to go home too.
So he's just like starting to apologizing, and they're just like, "No, don't apologize."
Yeah, Nozomi's like, "This is not your fault. Fuck you guys."
Yeah,
this is he's in the clear. This is not he's drifted too. He's suffering too. Mm-hmm. And they're like, "We're talking to him." It's like, you're not talking to him. You're talking at him.
Yeah,
you're ambushing him. Mm-hmm. He runs away, I believe.
Yes,
and this is the student council. It's not really... They've kind of shifted at this point, in my eyes. They're no longer, like, power hungry, trying to control. They've got their motives. They're doing stuff. But they're like, hey... I think there's especially a scene where, like, Pony and Mizuho kind of have, like, a moment where they're, like, kind of okay with each other.
Yeah, it's like, you used to be a bitch. Now you're okay.
Yeah. But they give the power holdover to... So he's hiding somewhere.
Yeah.
Nagara's
well, he gets again ambushed by like Misaki and some of the other students. Be like, "Hey, send us back."
Oh, that's right.
And then he transports them to another world.
Scene. There's after that ambush. This has got one of my favorite scenes in it. It doesn't have anything to do with the plot of the rest of the episode.
Is this with the Guardians?
Yeah, but this is Nagara.
It doesn't
Nagara
matter.
and
Whatever.
Nozomi.
They know what we're talking about.
Like fishing on a pier, and Nozomi jumps into the water, and Nagara jumps after her. And there's like a bunch of like lit up minnows swimming around.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful scene. There's great music playing on it. Just like, I don't think it was an actual like lyric song.
I don't think we've discussed this yet. This anime has amazing music.
We definitely talked about the ending.
Yeah.
But the whole soundtrack is awesome. Mm. There's several like insert songs where people are actually like singing. This turned me on to the band Sunset Roller Coaster, which I love. I don't know if they're playing on this scene. No, they're in episode 6. Yeah, but it's just like some good solid background music in this beautiful scene. And then he's walking somewhere by himself. He gets ambushed again.
Yes,
this time by Miss Aki's crowd, which is a different crowd than the other one.
That's like I think Ace and some other people.
Yeah, Asakaze is there.
No, he shows up later.
He does show up later?
Because he's the one who rests.
So they're like, take us back home, or they're trying to get him to do something.
Yeah.
And he takes them to some other random world, and then he runs away from them.
Yes.
And then Asakaze is able to like rip open the door to that world to get them back to the island.
Yeah.
He's very powerful. He can just do a lot of stuff without explanation.
I don't think we pointed out, but at some point they realize Nagara isn't teleporting. He is creating new worlds.
He's creating new worlds, which gets expanded upon further
later.
But basically, our understanding at this point, and for all intents and purposes, he's not discovering new worlds. He is creating a new world. So he can never get them back to their original world because that world is already created. Supposedly. Not by using his power alone, I should say.
Correct.
So, he's hiding.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's hiding on the burnt out version of the island.
Correct. Which
is when we kind of get the feeling, well, the characters get the idea when they find him that, wait a minute.
This is the island that burned down. I thought we fixed this.
Yeah. So Rajani, Nozomi, and Mizuho find him using the power holdover of the the curtain or whatever that they can flip over to go to another world.
Correct.
So they use that to find him, and they're like, wait a minute, this is the island again, but it's the burnt up version. So they realize that he used his power to make another world of the island, but one that was pristine.
Yes.
Because they like find stuff that they had left behind on that island. They're like, yep, this is definitely the place. At this point, they just kind of start. This is kind of the end of the episode, because the next episode is when they're like kind of drifting between some different worlds, right? They just start a journey of.
I think we're introduced to Yama Biko.
Yama Biko is the next. He shows up in the next episode.
Season 6?
Episode 6, yeah.
Okay. I think we get another, like, cut to him.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely another scene where we actually see a dog in the forest. I don't know if that was this episode or one of the previous ones, but we see Yama Biko in full, not just his eye, and it's just this big black dog. But he shows up in the next episode, episode 6, when they're just kind of traveling around, avoiding detection from the Misaki crowd. They're sort of in contact with the student council president's group of people. There's really, I've noticed there's a couple different groups, and
There's
some of
like
them intermingle.
3 or 4 factions almost.
Yeah, so there's Misaki's group, which has Asakaze in it, and a
Yes.
few other like nameless people, and one character who will become more important
Later.
She'll have like her own episode. There is the student council group, and they have like some followers.
Yeah.
There's our main group, which is Rajani's sort of like a in between.
He's
nobody.
He's with the good guys. Come on.
Yeah, but he is their friend. But I would say he is the one that's not part of the core group, but he is their friend.
Yeah.
Mizuho, Nagara, and
Nozomi.
Nozomi and Asakaze sort of have a friendship. Nozomi sort of has. She's very honest.
Yeah.
But there is a sort of friendship between them at this point.
Yeah.
The other group is like Ace's group is sort of separate too, but I think they're kind of more aligned with Misaki's group, but they're sort of their own faction.
They just don't like really trust her, I think.
They're off by themselves basically.
I think they're more like
we want to go home.
Yeah, they want to go home, but they don't trust.
They don't trust Misaki. They don't like Nagara. They don't trust the student council.
And then student council's like, no, Misaki's right. We can't go home.
Yeah, they're but they're not really aligned
Hoshi
with her.
says that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hoshi's like, no, she's right. We can't go home at this point.
I was told by God.
Yeah. So Hoshi's power is that he hears things from God.
Yeah.
Directing him towards things.
Mm-hmm.
And he had his power before the school drifted.
Yeah, because he was told
that the school would go drifting.
Yeah, before the drift that the school would drift, but he went anyways.
We also learned that Mizuho had her power before we drifted.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's common knowledge, but she tells Nagara.
Mm-hmm.
It's like because we just see a scene where like a box appears.
Yeah.
In the school. And it's theorized that probably some other people did too, started developing them. There's like a bunch of like rumors about weird things that had happened in the school that people start to kind of piece together. But our main group, they're kind of avoiding detection, just traveling to different worlds. They find a world that, well, first of all, Mizuho finds a giant dog like eating in like a warehouse. So
we're on episode 6 now?
Yeah, we're on episode 6.
Okay, I don't remember you transitioning.
It's 5 and 6 really go together.
Yeah, but before we move to 6, though, I just want to point out a quote that was really good. When Nozomi and Nagara are talking, like after the Minnow scene, Nozomi tells Nagara, said, "I'm anxious and scared too, but that's why we do it." So I just thought that was a really nice line.
Yeah, because they have a little exchange where she's like, "You're not brave enough," and he's like, "You're too." That's true, but you're too foolhardy. Like,
how do you do this or whatever?
Yeah, and she's like, "Well, I'm scared too. It's just the scared is part of it. That's what excites me to move forward."
Just want to bring that up.
No, that's good. That's good stuff. That's a great scene.
Yeah,
it's so detached from the episode, but it's like, man, I remember just being blown away by that scene the first time we watched it. So episode 6.
Sorry.
We meet Yama Biko proper now.
Yes.
And it is Mizuho's like, check out this dog that I found. And she's like, sit, shake, He shakes her hand and speak, and he's like, "Hello." And this deep voice, it's a very famous Japanese voice actor whose name escapes me at the moment.
I know he's a famous,
but people are like, "It's that guy." He always has the same voice, but it's like,
really good voice.
Yeah, and it's just this deep, old sounding voice in this dog, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I was a student too, but I enrolled in I enrolled the year that you guys graduated."
Correct.
So I'm, in a different class. Mm-hmm. And I've been here for 5,000 years.
5,000 years.
And he's like, but you drifted after us. He's like, time is weird.
Time's weird.
It's wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey.
Yeah.
They find a world that has like a movie theater. Mm-hmm. And one of the movies that they're playing is just Nagara's
point of view.
And he's like, I swear I'm not filming anything. Like I don't need any more pressure on me, man. I don't have secret cameras. And he's like, that's not how this world works. And there's a bunch of different videos of different worlds. And so long as Nagara is present, if Rajani uses his power to make some sort of machine to kind of like combine the footage, like he combines footage of the current world perspective of the island with the monkey world.
Correct.
And he like doubles up copies of the monkeys. So he doubles up copies of Yama Biko. And like I think also the monkeys or whatever, and then the monkeys are basically like bowing down and worshiping Mizuho, which is great. But but it's all happening in real time. And he's like, I tried this earlier, and nothing happened. The only change is you are here now. So anything that we like meld in this theater, so long as you're watching it, becomes reality. Mm-hmm. And they're like, so can we find anything from before we drifted or like from our real world? And he's like, well, maybe this one thing, but it's all moldy and I can't use it. And then Nagara picks it up and he's like, it's working. And
like a different projector shows up, I think.
It's like, hey, it's working. And Rajani's like, you fucking astound me, man. This is great.
You are amazing. I love you.
Yeah. I love Rajani. He's
so good.
He's so close to being a main character, but he's removed enough that he can be mysterious still at times, and it's great. So like, okay, we've got this. It's playing footage from our world. We can try to combine footage of us on the island with us in the real world using this editing software.
Try to
get us back. Mm-hmm. The student council president is like, it's not going to work. I know, God told me there's no way we can get back. But he finally relents. He's like, what's the harm?
Yeah, Nozomi's just
it's not going to work anyway, so what's the harm?
Yeah, because Nozomi basically brings up that same point.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the worst that could happen if we try?
Yeah, the worst that could happen is that you're wrong and you get back home. And he's like,
all right.
Point. You got entertain yourselves. It's not going to work, but entertain yourselves.
Should also point out that Hoshi and like the group are building an arc.
Yes,
as well.
They're like, this is an arc we're building. This will
allow us
to travel and find a place for ourselves in this weird multiverse place.
It's an arc.
Yeah, it's an arc. They turn on the projector. Miss Aki's group tries to like attack them.
To like flood the island.
Yeah, I think Asakaze like destroys that world, but luckily everyone's in the arc, so
it's the flood.
Yeah. The plan sort of works.
It sort of works. They get to their world, but
there's other copies of them there, and they can't like interact with anything.
Correct.
They're like ghosts.
They're basically passerbys. They view everything, but they can't interact with the world.
They can't interact. They like we find out that Nozomi is dead.
Nozomi is dead
in this world. People are grieving for her. We should also mention that like as soon as they turn it on, she's like, the light that I've been seeing.
It's right there.
Yeah, which I don't think we mentioned that.
Okay.
How her power really works.
Oh my god, we totally skipped that part, I think.
So she calls her power compass because she's like, the light that we're seeing is our way back home. Mm-hmm. And it's getting closer every day. But every time that you try
she's the only one who can see it.
Yeah, she's the only one who can see it. Every time I move like a foot closer to it, it moves a foot back.
Yeah.
But it is moving closer every day. So it's like, as we're making progress, we know we're moving in the right direction because the light is getting closer. And as they do this, the light disappears and we hear the voice of God say... Because that, we mentioned before, sometimes there'll just be an old man's voice talking over other people. And that's the voice of God that we learn. And he's just like, you're no longer needed. Is what God says to Nozomi.
Correct.
And the light is gone.
We cut the black, and then we get to the school.
And people are like, "Hey, that's me! Come on, what's?" Yeah. Some people are crying. Some people are like, "Hey, what's up?" Seed. Nozomi is like, "Hey, it's Asakaze," and she runs up to him, and she walks through. She
walks through him, yeah.
And it's
it's amazing.
Yeah, and then we see God talking to Nagara. He's like
an old man in a wheelchair.
Yep.
Which
he looks like David Lynch.
We called him David Lynch, but I think we're getting that Lynch connection from. It's like, yeah, he kind of looks like him.
But he's just like, you guys are copies of the original. Your probabilities discarded.
Yes.
We rolled the dice and you lost. Like,
yeah.
You are. That's why you cannot return. This would have never worked, sort of thing. He's kind of being discouraging, and that's when we kind of learn that Nagara's power is not that. It's not that he's creating worlds. It's that he's opening up a box of probabilities, and something comes up, and as soon as he observes it, that makes it real. He is the observer of this multiverse.
This multiverse, I think we kind of pointed this out. The multiverse is basically Schrodinger's cat.
Yes.
We don't know what's inside until we open it.
Yep.
Nagara can open that box, and whatever he observes becomes reality.
Which is why the movie theater only works when he's there, because he is the observer.
Correct.
He's the reason that this exists, that it's not just shadows of probabilities.
Correct.
His power is observer.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't have the power of observer, they'd have all just been like probabilities in our world, things that never happen. But they're real now because he's got the power of being an observer. So he makes the world that they're in real because he's there to see it. We get at this point we failed. God is like, you guys, didn't work.
Better luck next time.
Yeah. They're back on the island, which I guess is now no longer destroyed. Whatever. And Hoshi was like, I mean, there's a chance that we would have become the originals again, and it would have worked. So, it was
worth the shot.
The chance was there, but we rolled the dice and lost. So it's like, hey, we're gonna continue with our plan of just finding a place for us using this arc.
Yeah.
What are you guys gonna do? And they're like, well, I think we're just gonna keep trying to find a way home. It's like, who cares if it takes us forever? We've got the time.
Well, Hoshi's group, they're just going to leave. They're going to find their own world or whatever, or at least explore.
Yeah.
And Nozomi, Nagara, Rajani, the main four are staying to try to figure out another way home.
Yep. Miss Aki's group goes someplace for she's got
like a boot camp.
She's got a boot camp she needs to put them through. They separate with Nozomi for a little bit at this point because they're like, well, this is kind of getting into episode 7. She's like, hey, I'm gonna go with them. I think they could use me. I want to continue with them for a little bit. I'll meet you guys back here at a certain date and time.
Okay.
So
Does she leave this episode or the next episode?
It might be the start of the next episode. End of this
episode 7 is ants.
Episode 7 is ants.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I'm getting Yama Biko. I'm getting episode 7 and episode 8 switched up.
Yeah.
At the end of this episode, we see 2 people we've never seen before. One of them looks like an umbrella with legs.
The other one
of them looks like with a dude with a giant sock on his head.
Like Italy on his head.
Yeah. I always think it is like some sort of like giant stock that he was wearing as like a mask or something. Whatever. They're like, I thought they could have made it.
They were so close.
They're so close. They could have made it. Yamabiko is like, 8 months that's how long they've been gone. 8 months is in the realm of possibility of you guys getting back.
Yeah.
I would never have been able to get back.
Yeah, because he's 5,000 years old.
Yeah. Or 5,000 years older.
Ooh.
He was like 15 when he left, so he's like 5,015.
Nice.
So, they're on the island. They're just trying to figure stuff out.
Yep.
Nagara sees this...
ant farm.
Oh, yeah. There's an ant farm, and he goes that Rajani is...
Well, no, before this, it starts with that little conference thing, right? Or it's that group, they're like, we gotta find Nagara.
Oh,
He's the reason. We gotta find him.
We found the reason why we are trapped in this world. We found the observer. It's this guy Nagara. They've got like a blurry picture of him. We're gonna pass judgment on him. We're sending Umbrella Man.
Umbrella Man.
To go pass judgment. And Umbrella Man can like fly like a bat. It's real weird looking.
Well, I think his name like means bat.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because that's his nickname or whatever. There's a flashback, I think, to Nagara at some point.
Yeah, he's like a kid.
Yeah, Nagara's a kid. There's this exercise bar that Japanese things have where you like try to do like flips or something on it.
He's like basically turning himself upside down. Almost
he's like
it's like that Olympic event where they like do the bars except on the ground.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. He's like, hey, his mom's like encouraging him, or someone is encouraging him, like, hey, you can try to do this. Just look at that kid. He used to not be able to do it, and now
look at him.
Now look at him. He's flipping like crazy, and he's just
like he's
everyone
a freak.
Calls that guy the Bat, like, or like not the like Komori or something like that. Is
that guy's stupid? I don't like him. He's dumb.
People make fun of him for being able to do that, for being so obsessed with that. I don't want to be like that. But he sees this exercise bar on the island, and he's like, huh, weird. And he goes to like try to do one of the flips, and when he turns upside down, all of a sudden, orientation of the world is flipped, and he starts falling up.
Yeah.
He wakes up. He's in some sort of like tower thing.
Yeah.
And then there's this simple dude being like, hey man, we gotta get moving. Yeah. And some like foreman stops them and punishes their group. He's like, well, what's your name and group? And he says like his class number. He's like, everyone in this group, you've got 50 extra kilos added to your workload for the day. Whatever. And everyone's like, thanks a lot, dick.
Dillhole.
And he learns from this dude. He gives him a fake name because people are
Nagata.
Like, yeah, Nagata. Real close to his real name. Because people are like, that Nagara guy, he fucked us all up. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, we're building this tower. We've got to take all these stones from the top of the tower and bring it to the bottom of the tower.
Why are we going down? I don't know.
But also,
what are we building? We don't know.
We're building a tower to heaven.
Why are we going down? I don't know.
Maybe they're building the foundation. Who knows? I don't question it. But sometimes I go treasure hunting.
Yeah. And
they eat like bugs, and
it's a weird episode.
It's a weird episode. They eat bugs. They go. Eventually, he's like, I can't sleep. So the guy's like, well, let's go treasure hunting. Let's go to that cave that has shooting stars that one waitress was talking about. And
that could like grant wishes or something.
Yeah, like she'll be stoked that we went to go look for it. So they find something, and it's like, oh, hey, this looks like shooting stars. And we get a flashback that there's like these, we see like these little stream things. We get a flashback to Rajani talking to Nagara and being like, these bugs are very interesting. They make bright fluorescent patterns, and they trap other bugs in these strings. So the guy, his friend or whatever that's been showing him the ropes, goes up and he's like, no, wait, hold up. This is bad.
It's a trap.
And then he gets eaten by bugs.
Yep.
He gets eaten by giant bugs. Nagara at this point is like, okay, I think I've got this figured out. He takes a stone like up instead of down, and everyone's looking at him weird.
What's this guy doing?
And we learn that certain worlds have bosses that like control them, and there is like a council of people that like have the affairs of other worlds and have ways of travel.
They give them a name, but they are not important, so I don't remember.
But basically it's like we learn that, hey, this has been going on for thousands of years. Correct. It took us a very long time to develop ways of visiting other worlds, and now only like the super powerful people in charge regularly do it.
Yeah.
And there are people in charge of these worlds that have certain objectives. And really the whole point of this episode is that, hey, we've got nothing to do, but, this is all, like, probably useless.
Yeah.
But we've got nothing to do, so we're finding meaning in the fact that we're doing it. And, we're finding, even if the reason for us living is bullshit, at least it's a reason to live.
What is it? Because they're like, so what are you guys going to do when you get to heaven? And Nagara's keep asking questions. They're like, well, we don't want to get to heaven. We're just doing this.
It's not that they don't want to. It's like, we haven't really thought that part out.
Yeah. It's like we really don't care. It's just,
we've got a purpose.
Yeah. It's a purpose. That's all we really want is the purpose, not necessarily the end.
Yeah. So he goes up to the top of the tower or whatever, and we learn that the orientation of the world is flipped. That's the one guy, the umbrella dude's power.
He can tilt the world or change the direction of the world or whatever.
And he's just kind of like, he talks to Nozomi, he talks to Nagara a bit and gets the idea that, hey, Nagara is not giving up. He's not a bad dude. He's just gonna keep on trying to find something, work through stuff. And
it's not his fault, basically.
Yeah, Komori's like, yep, I'm the one in charge of your punishment, and you don't have any punishment. Like,
you're free to go.
So that episode didn't really have a big emphasis on the plot, but it was just
it's a nice Nagara.
Yeah, it's
story.
we get to see his growth as a character from being super apathetic to being like, no, I'm gonna like take an active part.
Yeah.
And this is just kind of.
I don't want to be an ant. I want to be a problem solver or whatever. Yeah. Stuff like that.
So this is the episode then at the end where Nozomi's like, hey, I'm gonna go join those guys. I think they could use me for a bit.
Yeah.
I'll meet you guys back here this specific date and time. They then are now getting into episode 8.
Correct.
Which I think you called Regret. Is your name for it. It's not the actual name, but
I named all these. The first names aren't good, but I like these last couple names.
So Ants was
episode 7. Episode 6 was Graduation. Episode 5 was Ambushed. And then episode 4 is just baseball.
Yeah. I would have called it Monkey Baseball, but that's me.
I try to keep it one word.
Okay. So Regret is this episode, and the reason why, they're just Yama Biko.
They're traveling. Yama Biko, Nozomi.
And
Mitsuho. Sorry.
It's not Mitsuho. It's Mizuho.
No, it's Mitsuho. It's a T.
No.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's Mitsuho.
We watched the. Okay, I'm going to pause the episode here. And we're back. I've looked it up. I was right. It is Mizuho.
Yep, so we're tied 1 for arguments.
What was the argument that you won? You have that noted down there? This was not on...
I don't know. I forgot what it was. I imagine... I just wrote...
You just wrote down 1 point for Ben.
I didn't even write it down. I'm just like, 1 point.
Okay, whatever. It was something that I had wrong. Yeah. I don't know. It was something on the last episode, I think.
I don't know.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Ranjani says, hey, I'm going to go do my thing. I made this boat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go on a solo journey and kind of discover this world. And they're like, we're going to miss you, dude.
Yeah.
And he's like, we'll probably see each other again or something. Maybe.
Probably not.
But he's just going to go on a solo journey of discovery.
Yep.
And be a cool... We learn later he's a cool bird owner, dude.
Yeah. He's a bird guy now.
Yeah. A lot can happen in 2,000 years, man. Okay.
Getting ahead of ourselves. Episode 8, Regret.
Yama Biko, Mizuho, and Nagara are traveling just to various worlds. Yeah. And they're like, hey, Yama Biko, tell us a story. It's like, I don't really have any entertaining stories, but...
How did you become a dog?
Yeah, how did you become a dog? So we get Yama Biko's backstory. He was always kind of a drifter.
Yeah.
He eventually found a place that was a world that was ran by a girl whose power was she could direct all things of this world.
So she could heal things, create
things. She could turn it from day to night.
Yeah.
She could make a tree blossom or whatever. Very, very powerful powers. Mm-hmm. And she had her own little following, and they kind of took him in. He's like, these guys are a bunch of phonies. Nobody's this nice. I have nothing to give them. What do they want from me?
Yeah.
So he runs away. And she follows him. He's on a raft in the ocean. Yeah. And she's like, hey, I brought you your supper. And he's like, throws it overboard.
Yeet.
And she's like, it must have been too hot. You're right. And then she jumps into the water. And then there's a geyser of soup. And she's like, drink the soup. And he's like,
it's too salty.
He drinks the soup. He's like, it's too salty. She's like, damn, you're right. But he's like, okay, now I'm going to be here. Yeah. This is sort of my place now. Then something starts happening to this world where people start developing weird tumors and crystal things growing out of them. And she's got some of it too, and she's like, you look at me and tell me the truth, what do I look like? And he's like, your hair is so white it's like snow. And your lips are so blue it's like something.
The sky,
yeah, like the sky. And then it's like, and your eyes show more kindness than they ever have. Mm-hmm. And she's kind of like I don't feel like she really believes him because she's looking for somebody to say you're ugly and to prove her inner doubts, right? That these inner insecurities are correct, and he's not giving her that because I think he genuinely he knows what he's dancing around, but he is still no, you're still magnificent to me.
That's how he sees her.
He's like, she was shining more and more the more that this affected people and the more that this was making them downtrodden.
I think we should point out though, she can heal people, but she cannot heal these tumors.
Yes. So these are, her power is not working on these. And he's like, I will be anything that you
want me to be. And
there's just a scene where we're looking at him as a human and her as a human, and then it goes behind a pillar, and when it comes back, he's a dog and she's a human. He's licking her wounds or something. Mm-hmm. So he's like, I am your loyal dog. This is, he took that form. It's kind of is it her power?
It's either her power or it's his power. Or
we learn that it's his power later on in the episode. But he's like, this is, that's how he became a dog. Mm-hmm. We learn that hey, there's somebody on the outskirts of our, our civilization or whatever, of this world. And they go, and there is another guy. He's wearing a cloak and rags, and he's got the tumors and stuff too. He spits blood, and he calls her ugly.
Yep.
And she's like, "This guy gets it."
Thank you.
Then people start it's I think that guy's the cause of this, and he's like, "Yep, I'm the cause of this.
I did this."
We see him later, and he doesn't have any of the wounds or anything, and he's like, "I am here. I said you were ugly, but I lied. I just told you what you wanted to hear. Mm-hmm. Here, have this shiny medal. I get that. You get one of these for killing 100 people.
And this one's for 1,000 people. And this one's for 10,000 people.
And she's like, what do you want from us? And he spouts some sort of nonsense. But they eventually, everyone in the colony, blames this guy. And they eventually all, basically turn into crystal tumor things.
They basically died.
Yeah, they're basically dead.
They turn
death is weird.
Yeah,
talk about this.
A couple episodes.
Yeah, death has a couple of different manifestations in this multiverse because they can't traditionally die because of the stasis. But we learn there's a confrontation after she dies, and Yamabiko still can't call her ugly or anything. Mm-hmm. He's still in love with her or whatever. They I'll probably have to cut part of this out because I'm thinking.
So it's realized that War brought this disease with him from a different world.
Yes. So Yamabiko is confronting War.
Yes.
You did this, how did you do this? He's like, well, I brought this disease from this world, and that's why her power didn't work, because she can only affect the things in this world. She can't affect things from other worlds. Yeah. But this world that I brought, I'm the one who brought this, for sure.
You created.
But you created this world. What this world's power is that people's inner thoughts show up, or their inner doubts
and mental wounds.
Mental wounds show up as real wounds on their body. Yeah. And this is because Yamabiko's power is the manifestation of what he's thinking.
Yeah. So he can manifest anything that he's thinking.
Yeah, which is how he turned into a dog, I believe. And why this world was created by him and then could be used as a weapon by War to turn all these people into tumors. Because he was able to introduce it. Similar to how when they were on the island and that curtain world was affecting the people on the island world, this mental wound world was affecting the people. Mm-hmm. Yamabiko then, he's mourning her death at the end of it. War just his name is War.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we said his name, but we didn't mention. Yamabiko reveals that this person's name is War.
Correct.
Yamabiko just kind of goes up to the big tree that she had cured towards the start of the story, and he's just like hanging out there for like 5,000 years grieving. We learn that's the same tree that Nagara saw Mizuho standing in front of that was on fire in like episode 2. Correct. And the fact that we saw Yamabiko's eye at that point means that he was there on the island the whole time. Correct. The island and the world that his story takes place in are the same this world, with just like 5,000 years in the future there. And that's why we saw him in another episode too.
I think the main thing we're forgetting is that War says that it's Yamabiko's fault that they all died because he wouldn't give what code. Her name was Kodama. Kodama. Okay. Kodama.
I would say Kodama.
Kodama.
I don't know, but yeah, he wouldn't say like, yes, you're ugly. These are disgusting, like, and he would.
I think it was almost more like she wanted the truth that she couldn't do anything, but he wouldn't give that to her. So all of her mental wounds of her not being able to fix it just kept manifesting itself.
Yeah. So it's just, I think like if you can acknowledge your own flaws, you can become, or close yourself off from your mental wounds. Yeah. Which is what Yamabiko did when he became a dog. Because he never was affected. Correct. So, but I believe the reason was because he closed himself off to his own problems. Correct. So therefore he didn't have any mental wounds because that was not in his conscious or subconscious. Whereas everybody else's mental wounds, they were thinking about them constantly. Yeah. And that's what caused their downfall there. Mm-hmm. If you can either close yourself off, which is not healthy, correct, or you can confront them, change, which I think Yamabiko sort of confronts and changes when he becomes a dog. He's no longer like the drifter. He's like, this is...
You want me to be like a dog who's like a loyal protector or whatever.
Like, he became a better person when he became a dog, I think, is how I interpreted it.
He became a better person when he became a dog.
Look, lots of people would be better as dogs, all right? Have you met people? They're the worst. Dogs are great.
And then it's basically the whole episode is about regret.
Yeah, it's like, why didn't I do what I could do at the time? Because I was, scared to tell her anything other than what I could, like, what her greatness was, and I wouldn't tell her flaws. And
So I would say this episode is a little bit confusing the first time watching because there's a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah, this and episode 6 are both like, there's a lot of stuff that happens where you're like, there's lines of dialogue that are very,
it's like, this is
mysterious. You're like, what is that?
What does that mean?
What do you mean by that? And you have to like pause and think about it, and then maybe rewind. Our second watch there, we did a lot of go back. What did that guy say? What did we miss?
It makes more sense after the second watch there, but
because we have the whole picture to kind of be like, okay, that's setting up this, and then whatnot. But and then after the story, Yamabiko and Nagara are talking, and he's like, I just keep thinking, what if I did this? What if I did that? And it's it's Yamabiko's story of regret, but it's Nagara confronting his own regrets in life. Because he's got
realizing that he can't.
Yeah, he's got a mom that, I think it's his mom. I don't think he has a dad at this point. But he's got like a mom that, I don't know, is like a hoarder or just doesn't care. Is just like trash building up in the house. It's just hey, this is a bad home life. Maybe if I would have tried reaching out to her. He regrets not reaching out to the bird, which I think is a big character moment for him.
I think it's also just like, don't have regrets, or like, I think he's like,
it's okay to, I think it's okay to have regrets, but you should use those regrets to try to have less regrets in the future.
Okay, to learn from them.
Yeah, and then acknowledge them, but don't get hung up on them.
Correct. Okay.
And try better the next time. Mm-hmm. So it's just about that. This again, we want to say this show is a lot more of an emotional journey than a logical journey. Correct. We're trying to find the logic in this. We want to be very clear, because I think people will dismiss it.
I think the emotional journey is a little easier to comprehend in this show.
Yes. Oh, yes. The emotional journey, you just kind of feel, you're like, yes.
That's why we spent more time on kind of the logical sense, just because that's harder to understand.
Yeah, and I just feel like people will dismiss it if they're like, oh, this is just a bunch of bullshit that doesn't make any sense. Like, no, it makes sense when you think about it, and that's not the important part of it either. Like, the important part is to have the emotional journey and see Nagara grow as a person.
You're watching these people grow.
Yeah, specifically Nagara, a little bit Mizuho. Nozomi, I think, grows a little bit, but she's fairly like...
Yeah.
She is... There's a character that's like... There's a character, I think, the next episode... No, it's the episode 9 is when we get the mind-reading character.
That's episode 10.
It's episode 10?
Yeah,
there's a character who reads minds, and it's like, she'll hear what somebody says, but then they'll hear their... like inner thoughts broadcast as a monologue. I think she specifically says it that way because not all people think in complete sentences, but it like translates their underlying thoughts into a monologue so that she can understand what they're going through. But it's like Nozomi is the only one who like doesn't have a disconnect between what they're thinking and what they're saying at all times. But that's episode 7. Basically, they meet back. 8. That was episode 8. I'm so lost. That's episode 8.
Episode 9 is the twins.
Okay. So at the end of episode 8, they meet back up with Nozomi.
Correct.
And she's like, you guys are late. And he's like, what are you talking about? We're right on time. It's like, I've been waiting here for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they like look at their phones and they realize that hers is 2 weeks ahead of theirs.
Yeah.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey.
Yeah.
So they resync their phones.
I think that was just more to be like, there's some time things here.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The passage of time is not always the same for every person once you're no longer together. So episode 9.
Correct.
They get enlisted to help Asakaze and Misaki's group in trying to like conquer a world where there's 2 twins fighting.
Like settle a fight between 2 twins.
Yeah. So this whole world is a battlefield for these twins.
Yes.
And they're like, the reason that they're battling is one of them has one hair more than the other one.
One strand of hair more than the other one.
And we learned that they were originally one person.
Correct.
And so I think it's more about, am I the original or am I the clone?
Yeah. This is where we talk. This is the cats episode too.
Yes.
So we should probably start talking about the cats that we have not talked about yet.
Yeah. We mentioned Mizuho has cats. They're the ones who like get the orders for her, for her power.
So we're under the impression that Mizuho's power was that she could basically get all these items.
Yeah, she could order anything off of Amazon. It's Amazon. It's like
whatever.
Nia is like a cat noise.
Yeah. But it's actually the cats who are doing all of this.
The cats have a power.
One cat takes the order. Another cat like delivers the order, and another cat copies the orders.
Yeah. So if you like ask for 2 of something, they will copy one of the things that you asked for instead of getting 2 of something or whatever. One of the cats will copy it. We don't actually learn that that's how that works until episode 10, but the cats are like all like talking to each other, and we get a lot of like their reasoning behind things. They're very protective of Mizuho, especially the white cat Sakura. Is like, she's still a child. She can't even go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And like we see that their powers work. Like when Mizuho was a child and she was like throwing a tantrum because they're her grandma's cats, but her grandma is like passed away or put into a home or something.
She was put into a home. She had dementia, Alzheimer's.
Yeah, but Mizuho was like, child Mizuho was throwing a fit because she wanted ice cream and her grandma was
She started eating cat food.
No.
What?
She's demanding ice cream and throwing a fit. I think the cats use their power to give her ice cream, but she's eating it off the ground like it's cat food.
She's definitely eating cat food because that stuff crunches.
No, that was not. She has like a little bit of like white ice cream milk mustache on her afterwards.
Okay.
She's eating ice cream that the cats delivered her.
Okay.
But she's eating it out of like a cat dish. So, and she's pretty much got it all eaten by the time that the grandma walks back in on her.
Okay.
So they've been doing their power for a while, and they're very protective. She's still a child. We get a flashback at one point where Mizuho is trying to go to the bathroom at her grandma's house in the middle of the night and is scared and holding Sakura. It's a very touching moment. That was still child Mizuho, though. Like, she's 16 now or whatever. We also learn that Yama Biko can just hear the cats. Can hear the cats talking this whole time. And the Yama Biko says something to one of the cats. One of the cats responds. He's like, I can hear you, right? She's like, no.
How long?
You've been spying on us. It's like, I never found a good moment to tell you. But it's like, okay, that was a fun scene with them.
Mm-hmm.
We get the impression that something happened between Nozomi and Asakaze during the I think it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not 2 weeks. The time they spent together, Asakaze like asked her out and she rejected him.
Mm-hmm.
And there is like
Also, Nozomi's having feelings and thoughts about her being dead in the other world.
Yeah, she's like, she doesn't have her power anymore.
She doesn't have her power.
She can't. Asakaze is like, you should keep coming with me. I can keep you safe. It's not like you can do anything. Yeah. And he's trying to use that. And she's like, fuck you.
No.
I'm going to go hang out in the snow.
Yeah.
Nagara has a nice moment with her where he goes out and finds her in the snow. And he's like, hey, maybe this time I can help you
find your light or
find your path or whatever. Mm-hmm. He doesn't say that out loud. We learned that in episode 10 from the mind-reading girl who he has that thought. And he's just kind of there for her bearing the cold or whatever. It's a great moment.
Yeah.
I don't know who I like more, Nozomi or Mizuho. They're both great.
We'll talk it later.
The twins thing, they've got like a reverse power or something.
They're able to reset the world.
Yes. So like whatever damage they do, but they're also like their powers are fighting each other, and they're constantly coming up with competitions.
Also, I think it's called reversing the power. I think when somebody reverses, they forget all of the memories before or something.
Yeah, but they also talk like it's a constant state of reverse versus reversing the reverse. So it's like I don't think it actually really does much because their powers are battling each other. But the one who has the extra hair always wins, but the other one keeps challenging, and he's also like capturing animals to like sacrifice to God or something. He catches the Sakura at one point,
the white cat.
Yep, she falls for like a trap that he has. The Miss Aki goes up to the one who keeps losing and gives him like this toy gun looking thing and says, "Divine providence from God. This is." Try using this. And he's like, I'm going to win with my own power.
Correct.
But he ends up being like, okay, we're going to duel with these guns now.
Yeah.
And he wins that because it's like the second person to shoot it is the one who wins or something. It is weird. I don't know how that gun works, but a hole shows up in the person who shot first. Yeah. And he's like, all right, I finally won. But then we see a hole in that guy too. And he's like, I feel empty now.
It's like, what was the point, basically? Am I myself now? And then kills himself.
Yeah. Somebody mentions that when they found out that he was... Oh, yeah, he's the guy to kill himself, too. And they rescue the cat. He's like, hey, that was going to be my sacrifice from God. And they're like, no, fuck you, this is my cat. Kills himself because he feels empty now. His purpose has been fulfilled. They rescue the cat. Somebody mentions that the fact that they learned that they were originally one person was they think it's like somebody copied him and made a mistake or something, or because they all know at this point that they're copies of their original self. So like, it's like somebody made 2 copies of them. And when we learn in episode 10 that the one cat makes a copy, it's like, did the cats fuck up that guy?
Well, I think they like show a order sheet that they had, and like somebody wrote down 1, but it looked like a 2, so they got 2 of the items instead of the 1. So it's like, so the cat's messed up on this.
We learned Rajani talks about.
Rajani figures out what's happening basically.
Yeah, he's cats. And I think this might have been before he left. He figured out that they make copies, but because I think whenever somebody mentions that thing, they just like. Try not to.
The cats are like looking at each other. It's like,
oh shit. But Rajani figures it out that because he orders something, a game that he made that there's only ever one of available.
Correct.
It's a tick dating simulator that's super difficult. There's like trillions of ticks and only one of them.
Only one copy ever made, but like it's a cult classic. I'm just like, how does everybody know about this game if there's only one? I don't know. Anyways.
Whatever. But his 1 looks like a 2 on the order sheet, so the cats give him 2, and he's like, 2 of them.
Interesting.
And he like starts asking like Mizuho if he can. Oh, I know how we know this because the cats are talking about how Rajani almost figured it out, and they're having a flashback. And he's like running tests, and he's like running a lie detector test, and he's like basically figured out that part of the reason they went adrift is that the cat's power unconsciously copied all those people. It would have happened regardless.
Correct.
But the cats are like, this guy's fucking on to us. Rajani never does anything with that information. But they're like, let's get the fuck out of here, break this lie detector thing. But the cats are awful sus when he starts bringing up the big questions.
And they're like, yeah, you never said anything. He's a real nice guy.
Yeah, because it's like, they don't want to mention it or like make it known. They won't like copy live things.
Correct.
Which Mizuho just thinks is part of their power, but they actually can. But they won't because that will place blame on Mizuho because they're like, oh, hey, you're the reason that we're copies because your cats copied us or whatever. I think we technically learn or we piece together that the reason they went adrift, the reason that everyone went adrift, is a combination of the cats copying them, Nagara being an observer, and them doing their powers unconsciously. Like, it's God's fault that it happened. He set it into motion, but he used their powers to set it apart. We also learned that when in episode 10, when Yama Biko explains that it's the cat's powers who are doing that, they're like, well, then what's Mizuho's power? We thought it was this the whole time. Are we done talking about episode 9?
Yeah. Episode 9 is mainly just learning about the cat's powers.
Yeah, learning about the cat's powers and learning about the falling out between Asakaze and Nozomi and how, there's definitely, he's sort of a self-righteous prick. And that she's sort of in a...
and then Nagara comforting Nozomi. Yeah.
So those are the important parts of that episode. And then learning about the cats and their connection to Mizuho and their love of her and their place in this. So episode 10...
is death.
Yes, that's what you're calling this episode.
Yep.
They...
Okay, so we start with the mind reader girl. I forget what they call her.
So
it's like Katsetsu.
So that name, that's something I wanted to bring up. That name, I think somebody on the subreddit pointed out, the r/Sonny Boy subreddit. Somebody pointed out that is like Japanese for broken arm girl or something
like that.
So Nozomi calls her by her real name, but like Asakaze just refers to her as that, which is fucking mean.
Yeah.
But we learned that she lied about what her power was. She had like a trick where she could like stick a yen coin to her forehead. Yeah. So the guy, we call him Joe, the guy who has a shining finger.
Yeah.
We call him Joe because he looks like Joe from Digimon, who looks like our friend Joe.
Yeah.
He puts down her power in the Book of Powers as Magnet Girl.
Yeah.
But she's like, she lies about it because her power is to read people's minds, and that would throw people would not want to talk to her if they knew that she was reading their minds. She's got a big crush on Asakaze.
Correct.
She realizes how big of a douchebag he is because of his thoughts, but she's like, even so, I like him.
I think it's a little bit of that, but I also think she sees something.
She sees some good in him. Yeah. There is some good in him
because she's like, people don't see the
real him.
Asakaze. I'm sorry. Asakaze.
Like, we don't, but she can also tell that he likes Nozomi because he's always thinking about her, and he does not like her. He thinks that she's ugly.
She's like a sheep girl or something. Like, she'll do what you tell her.
Oh, yeah. Chore girl is what he calls her.
Chore girl.
But, like, he takes advantage of, like, her wanting to... Mm-hmm. I don't know if he realizes that she likes him, but he's like, nobody ever talks to her. She'll jump at the chance to help somebody out. Yeah. Like, if I'm, like, nice to her or whatever. Mm-hmm. But she knows that he likes Nozomi, and she's like, I dream of a world where everyone has rejected him, and he lays down at my feet, and I go, yes, I will take you in.
It's really sad.
But then when his thoughts drift away from Nozomi because she's rejected him, he just starts thinking about Miss Aki, who has been basically like trying to manipulate him to her own goals. And she can tell Miss Aki's thoughts that she's just using him. But he's just like, Miss Aki's giant boobs. Which we never mentioned.
So comforting.
We never mentioned that it's revealed that she is not necessarily a fake Miss Aki. But she's not their teacher. She used to go to that middle school. She was another middle school student that went adrift. And for whatever reason...
Miss Aki isn't their teacher, but the student
the student Misaki, who the original Misaki would then become their teacher. Yeah. But very, very different people from what we've seen of the very little we've seen of the real Misaki. But she's just another student whose power, I guess, lets her look like a grown up. Her power is very weird. Very like Asakaze's. He can do a lot of stuff without really saying why he can do it. But
I think she can kind of manipulate things, but to what extent we don't know.
Yeah, she's got a lot of inside knowledge on things too, because she works directly for God. But anyway, she's been manipulating him, and he, the mind reading girl is like, she's a bad influence on him.
Correct.
Even though I know he likes Nozomi, I think Nozomi's great. I think she's good for him. So when Asakaze comes up to her like, hey, I need some help with some things, this mission for Misaki or whatever, I could use somebody's help. Again, he's just thinking, this girl will do whatever I say because she'll jump at the chance to help. And she's like, yep, I'll help because I want to be around him and I like him.
Yep.
She suggests that they get Nozomi as well to join them. Nozomi's like, yep, I'll do it for you. You're cool. They're like friends.
Yeah.
Their mission from God is to introduce death in a way that they can stop war, who has, I guess, been killing people.
Yeah.
And he's like, he jeopardizes our plans for this universe, multiverse, whatever. So we need you to find a way to introduce death and kill war. They go to a world that war is in, which is like this.
Hold on, I gotta bring this up. They're like, we're gonna go after war and kill him, and then J-pop song comes on.
Yeah,
I just thought that was
there's a montage of them like climbing a mountain and all that, and
that was really funny. Go on.
But so it's Nozomi, Misaki, mind reading girl, whose name I cannot remember and I feel bad not knowing, and Asakaze. And this is where we explicitly learn that, this is why I turned you down, because you are not, you're thinking only yourself, or I can't remember the exact reasons, but
she turned Asakaze down because she didn't respect him.
Yeah, he's like, you're not a good person.
Correct.
Like
you let the power get to you, and now you're basically a dick, so I'm not going to go out with you.
We learn that. So anyway, this world they're in, they find war pretty quick, and it's just like, it's like a comatose. He's not reacting to anything.
They're in this.
He's falling down endlessly down this giant chasm that just ends in like a red line or something.
They say it's like a wound on this world or something.
Yeah, and I guess he like got mesmerized by it, and that's like, this world is built to like trap him because he would. Mm-hmm. Whatever. We learn that Miss Aki, she thinks a thought that just says "I know" whenever mind reading girl is doing there, and she reveals that to the group that she can read minds. Nozomi forgives her pretty quickly. Asakaze is like, feels betrayed because of
almost
all the
violated too, I think.
Yeah. They have like a confrontation, and Nozomi goes, I don't need mind reading powers to know what the hell you're thinking. Yeah. Like,
just destroys him.
Yes. They turn war into a gun. Yeah. They are like, that's how they introduce death. They turn him, I guess, into a power holdover.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what that gun does, but that's there. They're about to leave. They're like, okay, let's leave. Or like, they're going to say, we'll leave even if we don't have to go with you. We'll find some way or whatnot.
Because Nozomi says, I'm leaving.
Yeah. She had a phone again, I guess, specifically to talk to the mind reader girl.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, I don't really need this, because they have a power holdover that Rajani had, which is like postcards that she could like send to people to other worlds or whatever. So she's just, I'll just use this. And she throws the phone in the gorge. Mind reading girl does the same thing. We're getting scenes sort of mixed up here. I don't remember when confrontations happen. After war is turned into a gun, when they're about to leave, there is a piece of the cliff that breaks and Nozomi falls.
Yep.
Asakaze goes to like catch her, but instead of catching her, he turns her into... He basically does what he did to War and turned her into a power holdover, which is a compass.
Correct.
And mind reading girl is like, I thought I knew him, but that is, that's something that even his like mind reading thoughts didn't think that he would do, but that's what he did instead of saving her. And I think he was kind of taken aback by what he did too.
Why did I do that?
Yeah. I don't remember how this episode ends at this point.
I think that's how that basically ends.
Did they learn that happens from Mind Reading Girl?
Yeah, that's next episode.
Or like they they learn that at the beginning of the next episode.
Because I think we start with like the funeral thing, and then we get like a shot where it shows the postcard that I believe the Mind Reading Girl sent to them.
Yeah,
saying
there was an accident. Yeah. So, what do you call episode 11?
Departure.
Okay. I think I would call it Moving On, but that doesn't fit your one word description there.
It doesn't. Number 12 doesn't fit, but I couldn't think of a good title for 12.
Okay. So I would say Homecoming. That's one word. Okay, that's number 12. We're getting ahead of ourselves. The episode 11 starts with them like preparing a funeral service for her. Mm-hmm. They like find like they're just going through like a bunch of shit that Mizuho has. Yeah. And they find like a nice like box to put like keepsakes.
They like find some things too that they put in there.
Yeah, they find like a picture frame that's in the school, and they have a picture of her.
Like a hermit crab too. I don't know why.
Yeah, they find a hermit crab. I don't know. They just find some things, and they send out a text to all the group that says, "Hey, we're having a memorial service for Zomi at this time and place." Yeah. Yama Biko is in charge of like the people checking in at the book. They like say a prayer over the meal. Nobody shows up. The next day, they're like, "Okay, let's move forward with our plan." And
that's
like,
true, but you're also...
does Mizuho...
They like send that box of their stuff into the ocean, and then they're just sitting on the beach, and Mizuho starts crying.
Yeah, Mizuho just cries throughout the night.
It's really sad.
And then dawn breaks, and Nagara is just sitting there. This scene gets paralleled later. Mm-hmm. Nagara is just sitting there, and then dawn breaks. He's like, we should start.
Yeah.
So they start working on something, but as they're like walking down the beach, something
comes out of the island, or comes
looks
out
like
of
some
the
sort of
forest.
savage person with like some weird mask comes stumbling out of the forest. Turns out it's Rajani. He's got a big parrot on his shoulder, and I think he smells really bad. Like Mizuho is disgusted with the scent. He quickly like puts on his old school uniform. He's been wandering around for like 2,000 years, and he looks at their plan for going home, and he's like, "You guys are going home, right?" They're like, "Yeah." He looks at his plan. He's like, "Hey, this is a pretty good plan. Yeah, can I help?"
Fix a couple things, but it should work.
Yeah. So he's been around for 2,000 years, and he's got like a lot of stories to tell. Mm-hmm. He talks about...
he's hot.
Oh, yeah. Well, Rajani has always been hot.
I know, but it was this episode where you're just like, oh, wow, Rajani's hot.
I think you looked at me and you're like, Rajani's hot, right? I'm like, hell yeah, he's hot. What are you talking about?
That's what I wrote down. Rajani's hot, right?
Hell yeah. I'm not gay, but that's a hot man.
Anyways,
and he's also he's got like a soft voice, and he's very... I think he's got like a weird charisma to him. I love him. But he's like, "Yep, I'll help you with this." They start building a spaceship.
They build like the original like Apollo
11
ship.
It's the one. This is the same type of ship that originally put man on the moon.
I think it's like the exact same ship.
Yeah. So they're like using the cat's power and Rajani's power of like all his inventions to help build this rocket ship. Mm-hmm. And he tells a story to Mizuho about
a world he went to.
There's a world he went to where it looked a lot like our world, but it was like just a bunch of paintings that somebody had done that was like his home. It's the closest he came to feeling homesickness.
Yeah. And
eventually the paintings shifted to be a bunch of paintings of this girl that the guy who was in charge of this world was in love with. But she left him because he was obsessed with this, trying to make this like the real world, like and not looking at the reality in front of them.
Correct.
He's obsessed with their old reality instead of looking at the reality in front of them.
What is it? He's like, I used this machine I had from like a power holder to look at like what the girl really looked like. She's like, she wasn't that hot.
Yeah. And he's like, I used the same power holder to look at the pictures of the city, and it was a city from our...
The city was kind of garbage.
From our real world, and it's not nearly as pretty. So he wasn't even lost in the reality that they used to be from. He was lost in his memory of that reality, which is, rose-tinted glasses and stuff. He also tells a story to Nagara. This is the scene I mentioned is get paralleled. He tells a story to Nagara about somebody who invented death and how death sort of works. Death is a loss of purpose. So, when this guy invented a machine, he was like a twisted, demented person, took advantage of their stasis to perform experiments to try to figure out death. He eventually figured it out, used the machine on himself just because he wanted to die so badly. And he got up and he walked away, but he was never the same again. He was compliant and all this. You could tell that day by day, he had lost his purpose, and that was as good as death in this world. Okay. And he basically tells Nagara, Nozomi's not coming back. She is truly dead. She's not going to magically come back. This is also we reveal, like, how do you know that she's dead? And, like, the cats know the status of all things. They were able to make a copy of Nozomi, and it was a compass. Yeah. So they show a copy of the compass that she became. And then Nagara starts crying when they're sitting on the beach together. And Johnny has this really great line. I'm going to butcher it. But he has this really great line. It's like, I've got 2,000 years of experience and all my knowledge of how this multiverse works. And all I can do for my grieving friend is sit beside him. And it's just... Really that was powerful. It's like, shit, man. There's no answer to grief. There's just comfort and being there and letting them work through their emotions. But they continue with the spaceship.
But he kind of puts a parallel between this world and, like, their old world, where it's like, in both worlds, you all work up to this experiences, but in the end,
nothing matters. We die, and there is no soul. We die, and our consciousness fades. Yeah. And there is no meaning to this world, which is why the moment is so important, because we can assign it meaning, and we can experience it. And it's not like this is a moment that's leading up to some grand purpose. It's like, no, this is the moment, and it's singular, and it's by itself, and that's why it's important. It's not the the foreshadowing of what's going to happen in the future. It is its own moment. Every moment is equally as important because all of them are meaningless in the end.
And finite almost. Yeah.
Which is not necessarily my view of the world, but it is a view of the world that I can respect and that I can understand the message behind and appreciate that, it's about why life is important because it's finite. It ends. It ends. We talked about The Good Place earlier, like an hour ago. That was the point of that show too. It's like the whole point of something, enjoying something, and it not becoming hell or torturing is that it has a finite end. So you can cherish the moments you have. We're getting really close to the end here, and we're almost at like 2 hours. Yeah. But man, I love this show. Yeah. Is there anything else that we really need to talk to other than they incorporate the compass into part of the plan?
That and the cats can't come with them.
They have to leave the cats.
Nozomi and Nagara. They're the only people who are going.
Yes. Rajani says it's actually very simple to return to our world, but great sacrifices have to be made. He doesn't say, I think it's implied that there's more sacrifices than what he says. Yeah. But one of the things that he says is we can't get our time back.
Correct.
So when you go back to the world, you're not going to go back the moment you left. You're going to go and you're going to take the place of whoever has been living your life for the last 2 years. It's too late for me. It's been 2,000 years. Yeah. He says the cats can't come. Now, I don't know if that's because I think maybe the cats aren't actually copies. They're the originals. Yeah. Or if it's partially that the cats, because time is all wibbly wobbly, and the cats have spent time getting the orders and stuff that they might have been around longer than the others have been around. So maybe they're also cats, so they have a shorter lifespan. One of them was close to being dead anyway. Yeah. Tora,
I think the big one.
There's Tora, Sakura, and I cannot remember the other cat's name.
I don't remember.
But it's like they can't come either. I think the cats go with Yama Biko.
Yeah, Yama Biko and the cats go with Rajani.
Okay. Man, I wish a day in the life of that group.
God, Yama, Biko, and Rajani would be best friends. I feel like they would love each other.
They would be great. We didn't talk too much about Yama Biko other than his one episode. Yeah. I just really like him. He's Yama just cool. He's just this big black dog that speaks in the dopest voice imaginable.
But yeah, that's basically episode 11. They depart. Yep. They shoot off into space.
And then they land in like or is that the next episode that they get to like the little capsule that they spend some time in?
That's, I think, the second episode, or the last episode.
Okay. This blurs for me a bit.
So episode 12 starts, and it's the regular world, so it seems.
Yes.
Nagara is back in school. It's raining. We see his daily life.
Yep. Somebody is like, hey, what'd you do over summer vacation?
I worked.
He's like, I just worked a bunch. He's like, that's good. You probably got a bunch of money.
Yeah.
I went to Hawaii. Look at this picture.
He's like, wow, that looks like the island we were on.
He's like, that looks like Hateno Island, which is the name they gave the island. And they're like, what's that? I don't know what that is. He's like, okay, that person doesn't remember.
Yeah, he was on the island.
He's like trying to like spot people that he knows.
He's just trying to get a sense of like who remembers and has anything changed, I guess.
He sees Mizuho at some point and he's like,
Mizuho.
Hey, Mizuho. And she's like, huh?
Who are you?
And he's like, sorry, wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that wouldn't really make sense because he said her name.
Whatever.
But whatever. So he walks away dejected. And he's like, still, I know that it happened. And he like opens up a drawer. The compass is there. And then we flash back.
Yes, I think we flash back to the ship they're on.
So they're just like hanging out. The ship that they shot into space and they eventually like dock on this like weird thing
I don't know.
That's just floating up in space.
They're traveling like twice the speed of light or something.
Yeah, they're just spending some time. I get the feeling that 2 years has passed by the time they returned, but I get the feeling that when they shot up in the rocket ship, it was still only like 9 months had passed, and a lot of their journey was spent in space, just chilling out in that space capsule while it travels, approaches the speed of light.
I don't know. Time, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways.
They're just like hanging out, and then eventually like all of a sudden something like disappears that was part of their ship, and they're like, hey, that disappeared, and he's like, all according to plan, we passed the speed of light. We are now at the point where dimensions meet.
Yeah.
And we're going to the light that Nozomi saw.
Mm-hmm.
They use the compass as their guide. They're like tethered together.
It's basically a power holdover.
Yes, it's a power holdover.
Its power is showing a world.
Yes. The light that had disappeared, I theorize that the reason she could no longer see it after episode 6 was that it had gone so far away that light, because light takes time to travel places, so it was so far away that they could not see where it was. Yeah. So in order to get to it, they had to surpass the speed of light and get to the nexus point of dimensions meeting. And they made a decision that they're not going back to their world. They're going to the light that Nozomi saw, which is a slightly different world where certain things...
It's a world that Nozomi wanted.
Yes. They get confronted by Asakaze, and he's like, why are you doing this? Everyone has left. I'm the only one left. Rajani has become a forest. Even Miss Aki is gone. Mm-hmm. And they're like, look, man, we're
doing this for Nozomi, I think.
Yeah, it's, I don't think you'll be like, I don't remember exactly what they say, but they're basically just saying, we're leaving.
Yeah.
So long, and he's just like, here, and he gives them the actual compass of Nozomi, which we only saw one in his drawer.
Yes. We'll get into it.
Yep. They run. They get confronted by the principal / God. Did we mention that God was the principal of their school?
I don't think so.
God, yeah. The person who is God is their principal, and Yama Biko's like, it's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
God just happened to be the principal of your school. Mm-hmm. Don't look too much into it.
Yeah.
Anyway, they get confronted by him, and he's like, you mustn't go forward. You mustn't go any further.
Okay.
And Nagara says, you didn't say we can't go any further.
Yeah.
And he runs and he says something like, how are you planning to bring that with you? I think talking about the compass. But they get to the light. They're surrounded by light. And they like...
It's really good music playing here, too.
Yeah.
It's a really good mood. Oof.
Yeah. We're not doing it justice. Like, the show, the music adds, the visuals add. The show is sort of trippy at times. And you can just get lost in the music and the visuals. But it helps propel the emotions of the scene forward. But they're standing in this giant ball of light, and they're cupping their hands around the two compasses, which is like kind of like where the light is centered at this point. We're back in the real world again. Mizuho approaches Nozomi at this point. Or no. We see Nagara is at like a train station and he hears like some birds chirping and he sees Nozomi.
Correct.
And then she's like, hey! And then runs past him and is talking to Asakaze. Yeah. So they're kind of friends at this point in their life. Which I've got things to say about that that we'll talk about after we finish the actual synopsis here. When they... At this point is, I think, when Mizuho talks to him. Or we see Nozomi at, like, work, too. Yeah. Not Nozomi. We see Nagara at work, too, and he's getting yelled at by his boss, and there's some
mysterious woman.
Some mysterious woman who we saw an image of as they were still, like, returning to the world or whatever. And it's like, that person's got to be important, right? Why else would they show her at this point? And it's his coworker. We don't really get anything from her, but it's like, hey, there's that person that we saw that mysterious silhouette of earlier. Then Mizuho approaches him and says, Rajani's parrot laughs. Yeah. And he's like, so you remember? He's like, yeah. Oh, I guess we get a little bit of Mizuho's background at this point. It's not like she just approaches him. We see her side of things. And she's like talking to her mom about like the cat's getting held up by service and that Tora is dead.
And I think her grandma died too.
Yeah. And there's a very expensive service that took in all the cats. She goes, I think after she sees Nagara in that previous scene we were talking about, she goes back to their middle school and she's like trying to get into all like the worlds that we had seen in like episode 2 or 3.
There's episode 2, you see every single like
other world that
that Nagara found. She tries it.
And none of them are taking them there.
She like opens the curtain. She like flushes the toilet. I think there's
she drops a glass. There's like a locker.
She wants to drop the glass to see if it reforms.
That's right. Yeah. And I could have sworn I saw a slight twitch, but you said there wasn't anything there.
They did not inception it.
Okay. She then like looks out a window and sees that there's like somebody can tell like an alarm must have gotten tripped at the school or something. There's somebody outside and she's like, oh shit, and then she leaves.
The cops.
Then she meets up with them. They have like a scene where it's raining. They're talking under this pavilion about things, and he's like, "I've only spotted Nozomi. I haven't talked to her or confirmed it." They're like, "Hey, don't worry about the things. Like we decided we can't change the future. There are things that have to happen. So focus on those, and don't focus on the things that might happen or whatnot." It's a nice scene.
Yeah, also, I think at the end she's like, don't worry, you got this. If you're like half the person you were on that island, you'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, he's like, eventually my memories of the island will fade. They're already sort of going, and I'm doubting myself. And it's like, if even a fraction of the person that on the island will shine through, then you'll be fine. Yeah. Which is a touching scene. Yeah. We cut back to Nagara. He's back at the train station that he saw Nozomi on before, and he like hears some birds, and I think he heard them before.
I think he doesn't hear the birds. That's why he checks it.
Okay,
something like that.
Oh yeah, the birds were there before, and he doesn't hear them, so he pulls up like where a little stepping stool where their nest is to try to see what they're at. And Nozomi approaches him like, "Oh, you were worried about them too? Yeah. I think a crow got their mom. The others are dead, but this one's alive. Do you want to take it in?" And he's like, "I can't have pets." And then Asakaze shows up and she runs over and it's like, "Oh yeah, I think I'm going to take care of this bird." And he just kind of like turns around and walks away with a smile. Which
but before she's like, "We went to school together, right?"
Then we go to middle school. He's like, "Yeah.
You transferred over.
You transferred in our third year or whatever." But then Asakaze shows up and she runs over to him. at one point we have a flashback where she's like, "Hey, what's the first thing you're gonna do when he gets back?" And he's like, "I don't know. That's a dumb question. I don't care. Why might not?"
That's episode 11. We totally forgot about this.
But she's like, "Oh, the first thing I'm gonna do is eat a big omelet rice thing, and then I'm gonna eat something with strawberries, and then I'm gonna walk up to a curmudgeonly looking boy and ask, 'Hey, do you want to be friends again?'"
Yeah.
And they kind of like promised that one of them would try to be friends with them again.
Yeah.
They would.
Whoever remembers has to.
Yeah.
Make us become friends again.
So, but he walks away and he's got a smile on his face. Now, some people have theorized that this might be him, like giving up, like, "Oh, this is not my Nozomi. Let her be as she is, and I moved on." I think it's more that he's like, even if this isn't my Nozomi, that's still like classic Nozomi. Like that's still her, even if it's not my version of her or the version of her that I know. That's still.
He's like, our story is still being written, but it'll happen. It'll happen.
Things that have to happen will happen. This is the world that she foresaw. Yeah. So
they'll be friends.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, that's what I got. They'll be friends. Maybe not anything more, but this show is not really about that. As much as I like sometimes want it to be, because I like both Nozomi and Mizuho. I think we talked. We don't want a season 2 of this show.
We do not want a season 2.
If there was a continuation of this show, we would want maybe like a 45-minute OVA.
Yes.
And I would want it to be all like slice of life stuff. Nothing weird happening or like problems they need to solve.
I just want Nozomi and Nagara to be like at the end just be friends.
Yeah.
I want a little cameo from Rajani. I want him to show up.
Because he's like, "Yeah, if you ever see me, like hit me up." Like you know, and he's like, "I'll be sure to do that." But they we see some other people, just like quick flips of them. We see Yama Biko in his human form.
Yeah, Yama Biko.
And that one girl hanging out. Kodama, yeah. I think those are really the big ones. The big like cameo that we saw. There might have been a few others, but that's basically where the show ends. Yeah. The ending theme, acoustic version of so good.
So good.
Oh man. I need to get the soundtrack. I keep trying to go to the record store and asking them if they can get it in. I say keep trying. I've tried twice. Yeah. I'm going to go try again. I saw it on Amazon for like $83 for the vinyl, and there's like 3 left. I'm like, I can't pay $83 for part 1 of the soundtrack when there's 2 parts. And I don't want to order it in. Like, I think you can get it from Tower Records, but they order it in from Japan. And like the site that I found, somebody linked it on the subreddit. The site that I found was like, it's all in Japanese, and I'm like, I have to figure out how to get Google to translate this and make sure I'm spending money on what I think I'm spending money on. And...
Yeah. Okay, so I think the main like unresolved issue that we have is who is that girl?
I mean, but that's an issue set up in like the last episode, so I don't really feel that strong about it.
Okay.
And I have a note here that Sonny Boy doesn't care about trying to answer its mysteries.
That's true.
I don't remember what
I feel like they did a good job of like answering their mysteries, especially the second watch. That's the one mystery they keep, which makes me wonder.
Yeah, this show is so great as it is that I really don't want them to ruin it with like a season 2 that like regresses the characters or does something. Which is why I just want a nice epilogue, 45-minute epilogue of what's going on. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I love where it's at right now. I like that it leaves things mysterious and that it doesn't really care about answering its mysteries because it's all
a
about
show
the emotion.
Where there's no cliffhanger. The show ends. It's a great ending. You don't need anything else. But there could be a little bit more if you wanted it.
Yeah, we could explore some things. Mm-hmm. Things could be like explored upon in other media. Yeah. Supposedly, it's.
I think the main thing that we don't want is them to like basically go back to the island.
Yeah, no, that would be dumb.
We don't want to lose this.
We don't want to. The show is never about going to other worlds. The show is about characters growing. Yeah, and just having the ability to play with different things and not worry about it's the fact that they're in some strange world and they were in stasis and weird things were happening was a way for them to explore themes of growth and changing, and not the point of the story in the first place. So if a season 2 was to send them back to the island and they were like trapped again and had to find another way home, it's not. I would feel bad because that's not the point of the show. Hence why Rajani said returning to the real world is easy. It just takes great sacrifice, or simple but takes great sacrifice. I've got a few things I want to talk about. One, I want to talk about parallels between Asakaze and Nagara, and why I'm not like so mad that Asakaze and Nozomi are friends in this new world. Because I think they were very similar people before they shifted. Because it was stated that Asakaze, even though he's like top shit now, he's got all these superpowers, he was just like a lackey. He was a nobody before they shifted. And Nagara was a nobody. And Asakaze was given a bunch of power and went down a certain path. And Nagara was given... He had a very powerful thing, but it wasn't quite the same. And he went down a very different path. And they were... that character and that, Nagara had Nozomi there to help guide him to being a better person. And Asakaze didn't really have that. And he kind of became a worse person. So I think Nozomi is like, if she is in Asakaze's life, and can kind of be that good influence on him, she doesn't need to be that good influence on Nagara anymore because, he has already kind of moved past his problems. Then maybe, Asakaze is worth something. That was something that that's why I'm kind of fine with.
I'm fine friends with that too.
Asakaze. I don't really think I don't know if they're a couple. It doesn't really seem like Nozomi really cares about being a couple with anyone.
I don't know.
But like I'm not like mad that Asakaze the douchebag gets the girl. It's not the same Asakaze. No. And it may not be the same Nozomi, but it is the same Nozomi. Just not the same Nozomi.
Sure.
There's a lot of confusing talk in this world, especially since they always call all the alternate dimensions, they just call it this world. It's like this world. It's like, wait, what? Wait a minute, which world are we talking about right now? I have to keep track of the second watch through helps keep track of all this stuff. So do you have a favorite episode? Is it episode 4?
It's probably episode 4. I really do like the last episode though.
I think I might like episode 11 a lot, where they're building the spaceship and they're grieving.
That's good.
I really like episode 5 and 6. 7, I think, is a little bit of a downturn. 9 is a little bit of a worse episode.
I would say my favorites are 11, 12, 6, and 4.
Okay. That's very respectable. Yep. Because the first couple of episodes, you kind of think, oh, this is going to be like weird dimension hijinks. And it is still that, but it's a lot more...
I wouldn't say hijinks.
I would say hijinks.
I don't know. Hijinks, like...
The world is playing hijinks.
I guess, for me, hijinks entails, like, comedy.
Well, I mean, it was silly. It's like there's like Curtain World, and they've got the weird tools that they have to...
I was never laughing at this show, though.
No, that's true. But there were some silly moments in this show. I feel like we laughed when that guy was streaming with no audience.
Sorry, that was pretty fun. No, this is too real, though.
Yeah. But it's, I think I would agree with you on your favorite episodes, other than... I think 4 is great. I love the fact that I can say that there's an episode about monkeys playing baseball. And people will think a very distinct thing when you say that, but it is so different.
I could just like put on episode 4 and just watch it. I just love it.
Man, we need to watch this again in like 10 years when we hardly remember stuff, so we can be blown away again. Go, if you didn't heed our advice, please go watch Sonny Boy if you've not already. It's just... Or, wait a little bit and rewatch it. And
be like me. Just forget everything.
If you think we got something wrong, if we're not understanding the point of this show, if we're not understanding how the logic of this show works, leave a comment, you fucking cowards.
That, or if you have any, like, questions that we can maybe answer. If you have a different theory on some things, maybe.
We might touch in episodes not about Sonny Boy, or maybe when we're streaming on Twitch at Demented Goku.
Or just comment.
Throw some questions our way, and maybe we'll answer them. Yeah. Maybe we'll never see them, but maybe we'll answer them, or we'll have a cool discussion about it. I'm definitely going to be posting this on the our Sonny Boy subreddit because I think they get it. The people on that subreddit get it. They're like, why is nobody else really paying attention to this show?
Why is nobody watching this?
Which I feel like a lot of people are watching it because the art anime post about like the last episode had a bunch of comments, but I just have not heard anyone mention this show despite the fact that it's so good. But as I mentioned, we stream sometimes at Dementi Goku on Twitch. Yep. We are on Twitter at anime_territory. We're on YouTube, Anime Territory. We're on Apple Podcasts. Leave a rate review on there or something. I don't know how Apple Podcasts works, but I know they're the one that has a way to rate and review stuff. Yep. We're on Spotify. We're on Anchor. Give us a listen. Share it with a friend. Leave us a comment on things we can do better. Shows you might want to see. We've got stuff planned till February, but fuck it, we might change things around.
Yeah. Might do another episode on Sonny Boy.
Yep. Next week, October 31st, Halloween 2021, we'll be releasing a bonus episode. We normally release every 2 weeks, but this one we're releasing in between episodes. We're talking with our friend Brock about the show Hellsing Ultimate. Brock is, of course, our one consistent listener.
Yeah.
But we will... I mean, that's already been recorded. I have to edit it down. There's some stuff that needs to be trimmed out of that because it was a very long talk.
Yeah.
But it's... and then the episode after that, we're going to be covering a show. But I guess before we talk about that, we need to talk about your number 3 favorite anime.
Okay.
You want to recap your list here?
Okay. Let me get to it. It should be right here. Number 10 was Samurai Champloo.
Yep.
Number 9 was One Punch Man Season 1.
Okay.
Number 8 was Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yep. Number
7 was Your Lie in April. Number 6 was Violet Evergarden.
Yep.
Number 5 is Gurren Lagann.
Yep.
Number 4 is Princess Jellyfish.
Yep.
And number 3 is Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai.
And for our next episode, that's what we're going to be covering. We're going to be covering Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. Plus movie? Question mark?
I think we'll probably briefly discuss it, but...
Okay. I mean, we're going to rewatch the movie, though, right? We can't just end on that.
Oh, yeah, we got to watch the movie. We just might not talk about it a lot. Yeah.
So this is a great show. It did not make my top 10 list so far. And we still have to reveal 2 of my top 10. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be on there. But it is great. So tune in for other episodes. Hey, thanks for giving this a listen, you guys. And don't say goodbye.
Goodbye.